go now. Here we 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 go now. go now. Here we 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 go now. Now. Here we go 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 now.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to PUBG Mobile Club Open Fall Split 2021 Pakistan region, sponsored by Oppo F19 Pro. Woke up your fun, and a huge shout out to our official media partner Nemo TV. This is the day 5 of the semi-finals of PMCO Pakistan. My name is Phoenix Shivans. Alongside me, it's IGPL Trooper.
Well, yes, this is the day number 5 where teams from Group A and Group C, they're going to go ahead and complete their 12 matches. So they're going to set a target for themselves. Let's see how far these teams can push themselves on the overall leaderboard, and then tomorrow Group B and Group D are going to come in and complete their 12 matches, and by the end of it, whoever is there inside the top 14, they are going to be part of the regional finale.
Yep, so the mark is to be on the top 14 if you're going to play all the 12 games. Now Group A and Group C will complete all the 12 matches, but let's have a look at the tournament explanation so that I can explain it to you. How many teams are in the semi-finals? The number is 32 teams. All the teams are just divided into 4 groups. Each group has 8 teams, and this is the day 5. Group A and C are competing against each other. 12 matches being played by every single team, and only in the finals they have only 16 teams. So you have to be careful.
Well, I8 and Team F4 Quraysh, they are already there, so we just need 14 more from the Group A, B, C, D over here. And what are they all playing for? The total prize pool, $29,200, split beautifully among all the 32 teams. It also includes the $300 that the teams are going to get, who are going to get eliminated during the group stages. But that slot, the $3,600, they get that slot, PMPL Season 4, and that is the most important thing, that bragging right. The team that is going to play the PMPL, let's see which team is going to be that, and all these teams are contesting for that. And so this is just the start of the ladder, but how are the hashtags going to get decided? On the basis of this point structure.
Yeah, this is a free standard point structure. We are just following this from last year. If you're going to finish at the first page, you will get 15 points, and the points keep on decreasing. Now, if you're going to finish at the 13 to 16 position, you will get 0 placement points, and the X factor is if you're going to get 1 point, you will get 1 point for each skill. Now we have the squad roster in front of us. It's for the Group A team: Sky 52, Rage Esports, North Esports, Team Apex, and the other 4 teams are Golden Stars and Quraysh Esports, BYP Elites, and Fords and Ration. They have been TQ'd for the tournament.
Ooh, but we have still got 6 teams from Group A, and now we are going to look at the teams from Group C that are going to be participating today. And it's COBX. They're not really good on the overall standings. Let's see what they're going to do. The Grounders are back in action. Clarity Esports, what a day they had yesterday. Amazing games for them. But Team Star, they are also going to be part of Group C from here. Modified, Reaper X, Portal Esports are also going to join in as 3X Esports have been DQ'd.
Yeah, Portal Esports and Reaper X, this team showcased some great amount of dominance in yesterday's matches, but we have the schedule in front of us for today's game. First match is going to be Erangel, then second Miramar, then third is going to be the Sanhok, then another Erangel for the day.
Well, yes, that is the schedule, and that has been the standard schedule for all the days, right? So nothing's going to change over there for us. But the important thing, only Group A and Group C are going to play these matches, and they are going to complete their semi-finale leg. And how are they standing inside the overall standing? With even 8 matches played for all the teams right now, UAGTUF leading the charts with 139 points. Clarity Esports behind them with 104. And this is how the first page looks. Look at where Team Star are right now with 80 points, and Team Sky 82 points. So close to each other. It's going to be really interesting, and both these teams are playing today.
Both the teams are playing today. It may possible that they will have some early fights in an early stages of the match. But Reaper X on the 8 with 75 total points. This team, you have to look out for. This team secured 1 chicken dinner. Now we talk about the second page of the overall ranking. F2D stepping up on a 10, Freestyle on 11, 71 points for both the teams.
Well, yes, F2D yesterday, remember the Miramar game, how they just shined to the surface.
I remember for Freestyle.
Yeah, even Freestyle going down with just 1 point, but after 8 matches, they've got 71. They're looking decent. They also have a chicken dinner now to showcase against their name. Golden Star, however, they got the 2 chicken dinners on the very first day, but since then, they've been sort of absent. But let's see how they're going to perform. Solo Esports, Crown 138, but look at the crown holders. They are just holding the hashtag 14 for now. But can they hold that by the end of the day? That is going to be the question. Quraysh on hashtag 17. Max Esports, all the teams here on the page number 3. Let's see if any of the teams from here are going to jump and place themselves inside the top 14. Portal Esports, my eyes are going to be on them. And ZARAR Esports as well.
ZARAR Esports as well. Portal Esports are playing today, so as well as Quraysh Esports as well on the 17 version team. Apex on the 25th. Cobb X on the 26th played 8 matches, secured 8 placement points, 11 kill points in their backpack, total 19. Not that good as we expected, but you know, you're just playing against one of the best teams from the region. You still have 4 games left. Anything can happen. We saw the same thing in different regions, Trooper. But now let's take a look at the head-to-head of Team Sky versus Team Star. Look at that.
Well, this is a contest that really is going to be really very interesting today, because they're going to complete their matches and they're going to set a target. With 80 and 82 points between these two teams, it's going to be a race that is going to be very interesting. And look at that, the damage dealt is also not very far away. Almost reaching that 8,000 mark for both the teams, and even the kills are not so different. Just that one chicken dinner that is separating the two teams. But in the overall points, it is Team Sky that is leading with just 2 points.
But just 2 points difference between these two teams. Let's see which going to perform well today. I'm pretty much excited for both the teams. Now, Team Sky, they have a lot of experience. But now let's take a look for the team to watch out, and it is going to be Reaper X. We have Hip, Myth, Husney as well as Vampire. Now, Husney has the highest amount of kills amongst his teammates, but Hip just the highest amount of damage. It is 2,554.
Well, yes, this was a team that was playing so beautifully yesterday inside the final circle of Miramar, right? Deploying those 2 players to the riches over. It was really amazing. But look at the kills per matches for Husney. He's been just so amazing. And that DS just reminds me of his old previous squad, DS Official. And he was just an amazing player for DS Official. And I'm really happy to see how Reaper X and Husney are performing so good since the NC over here, and it's the right track that they have got on.
Yeah, this is the right track, this is the right path, and you are in the first page of the leaderboard. You're playing today your other 4 matches, and they are going to be the final 4 matches for you. It's 4 last golden opportunities for teams like Reaper X.
Well, yes, it's going to be a very important day, and considering the fact that they're on the first page already, and when all the teams have just played 8 matches, they got to set the target really good for themselves. And I don't think it's going to be a big problem for them, considering the fact the way we saw them yesterday, they're looking so good inside the first 2 matches as well. So let's see how all these teams are going to just pace the game today. It's going to be a very important opening game. Those 15 points are going to be really crucial, Johan.
Yeah, for sure. Those 15 points, that second dinner, they are going to be very crucial, as well as kill points, because we all know that kill points are equally important as placement points. But our first match is ready, so we just head on towards the first match of the day, and that is going to be Erangel. We have the plane path in front of us, starts from the western side of Stalber and just heading towards the western side of Quarry. And what do you think? Where the circle is going to form?
Well, that is going to be really interesting, but considering the kind of shifts that we have already seen during the fall split, it looks like that the circle will definitely have the Novo Bridge inside this first zone, and also the farm Milta shelter area as well. This might be an interesting circle. Let's see where this is going to go, as there's a western tilt onto this flight path, starting right from the areas of Severny towards the Quarry region. And let's see. Team Star already, they have made the jump. They love to drop and loot in the city of Severny. But Cobex, look at that. They're moving towards Yasnaya Poliana. And there is one more team that is accompanying them.
Yep, another team just dropping out. The same location, Portal Esports, heading towards the eastern side of the map. North Esports as well. They just drop down towards we can see Rozhok area. Now the important part is Trooper. Look at that, NFP Sky heading towards. They just head towards the pre-mosque area, and it is going to be important for them to collect a lot of loot and take some early fights. Now look at that. Clarity heading towards the same drop location. Another the standard drop location with the circle. That's a curveball onto your straight.
Well, I was
Yeah.
anticipating this, that the Nova Reploy Bridge might just be towards the center, but yes, the entire military island. So there are going to be a lot of early rotations. Team Apex, look at where they are falling. It's going to be very important for them to just make this rotation quite early. And even Portal Esports, they like to make an early rotation when the circle goes towards this southern islands. And that is why you can see them already mounting the vehicles over there, and they're going to set for the Nova Bridge.
You know what? This zone gonna set the pace for a lot of teams, because now Apex, they will straight ahead on towards the military base, because now they know that almost 99% of the military base is inside the circle. Delta Power is as well present, but it's just on the edge of the circle. Now Portal Esports, if we talk about this team, they're just heading towards the Milta area, and they anticipated it perfectly. What if the circle just going to move towards the northern side of the Milta? It is going to be the center of the circle. It might be the center of the circle, but Team Apex, look at that. The rotation has already been started from the military bridge heading towards the military base now. But this fight, or we can say two teams present towards the same area, Yasnaya Puliana.
Well, yes, Cobex were dropping in, right? And we have got the team of Quraysh Esports also following them inside there. And they've just dropped in towards the eastern edge of the city, and they're looting these big apartments. It's a very good spot to drop, because considering the fact that the garage inside the Sniper Polena is just very close to these houses. So they're going to have a good loot, and as well, they're going to get control of the garage as well. And that is going to be a problem for Cobex. They got to look out for different spawns of the vehicle, and maybe then they would get some. But let's see how they are going to control the city of Yasnaya. They're looted up, and now they're pressing. They're moving ahead. They might there might be just an early altercation, but let's see who's going to take this.
Let's see who's going to take this. But Team Apex on the different side now. Teams are just heading towards. They already just dropped down. Basically, they have control of the C buildings present in the military base island. Now, as you just mentioned earlier, Yasnaya fight just going to pan out after a couple of minutes, but look at that clarity. This team present towards the northern George Pool city, Trooper.
Well, yes, they love to drop in here, and they have been being challenged a lot over here, and they just loot up the entire area and then move towards the then make the rotation. But I've seen Team Bablu make very late rotations with the military bridge, base bridge, so that is some point of concern for them. But this is Team Apex, who've already made they just dropped near the military base bridge and then made this early rotation, and now they are looting up the entirety of the military base area. What do you call this compound?
Oh, I call it the grey compound.
The grey compound?
Yes.
Okay. I've heard police stations, I've heard office, but this is the first time. But look at that. This is the fight coming in from Yasnaya Poliana. Manny has been pulled down over here, and Cobex finding Quraysh Esports in their aggressive stance and trying to shut them down. They've got the first opening over here, and this is the first knock of the game. Let's see how Cobex are going to change their positions, not only just inside the city of Yasnaya Poliana, but also on the overall standings.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
We're pretty close to
but
the but
wow.
oh no, never expected them. Never ever expected this. But now Cobex, the situation is equalized, but the revival is already being initiated. Asan on the other side just brought down to only 10% HP. Pillai on the other side, he knows that where are the players. Now switch to that MVP mode, and this is going to be lethal for Cobex, because Saf's position has been compromised.
Well, it has been, but look at that. They need to revive a player. Even Saf goes down this time. So Quraysh Esports, they are in a lot of trouble. Irfan under pressure. Kenny stop Dubai, and Adi to just close in towards Saf, and it's going to be pressure. I don't think they're going to be able to save Saf. Irfan should not, and this is exactly what I was talking about. Irfan should not get that peek from that area, and he might just use that church as a good cover and might just rotate away from the situation, but they're not learning from the mistakes, and let's see. They're committing themselves to the fight, so if they get an opening or not, that's going to be interesting to see here.
One grenade being lobbed in towards the players of Cobex. Not yet. They're still waiting, but as you just mentioned, Irfan, he got knocked out. It's going to be a 4v2 situation in favor of Quraysh Esports. For this, Hassan just dropped out. Hassan just dropped down, and he takes down one.
Wow, nice knock coming in. But now, Mani just running in inside his houses, and one more player from Cobex goes down. There's just last player standing there. Let's see how he's going to deal with it. He's got some elevation to play with. This is Adam Core right now, and with that AK red dot takes one more player down, and let's see if he's going to get another on the reload. Gets caught off guard, and that is the early elimination coming in for Cobex, and losing no players. Quraysh are going to get 4 early kills.
Yeah, they secured 4 early kills as well as easily going to collect a lot of loot from this Yasnaya area. But look at that. MOD, we can see the players are up against the players of Reaper X. Now one player got knocked out from the side of Reaper X. They are in a bit of trouble. They have to do something because the revival is going to be a little bit difficult. But Mythco down on the other side. Amish faced the barrage hip with his perfect retaliation. In fact, that trade order also being initiated now. Reaper X looking out for that trade, and yup, secured that kill. On the other side, Zord also loses life. Lost his life. In fact, another player will go down. Mont.
But already looking impressive, Reaper X, aren't they?
Yep, they lost one player.
But they're just picking on this fight really nicely. Bullet is under pressure now. Hasni leading the charge. Vampire just following him. He's got a support with him. He's just moving ahead, and they take him down.
If you're going to take down our one teammate, we will take down your whole team. That's the slogan for Reaper X. Modified takes an exit at 12, secured only 1.
And look at that, he's so low in HP, but he's still not applying meds. He's just really charged up, to be really honest. He's just making sure to get his vehicles intact first, and he's going to loot up a little bit. But I think he's really getting overhyped here. It's just, you should just pop in that first aid, because that gives you that extra time, right? Even if a bullet comes in, it hits you, you get that opportunity to move away. But if you're solo on that HP, there's no running away.
And you know what? His first, priority is to collect some loot from that crate, right? Now, the important part is you can still heal yourself while moving, while walking. So he can do the same thing, but no, it was like, I'm going to collect some loot.
And there's a bridge nearby.
There was a bridge nearby, that's true. And we have the airdrop one in front of us. AUG, the luxurious weapon, as well as a tactical stock. What tactical stock does, just reduce the recoil.
Yeah, I've heard about that. But PMCO Esports already in over Hypnoy on the containers. But look at Team Star, they're swimming.
Decrease the spread as well.
Now I know that, thanks to you.
You're most welcome.
But look at Team Star, they're already swimming, and they're finding themselves inside the circle as well. So they're just swimming towards the Nova Hypnoy region. So do you think it can be a difficult situation for PMCO Esports? They might just not anticipate this move coming in from Team Star, and they got to keep their eyes on the back of their heads as well.
Apex on the other side still have control of this military base. Now Reaper X, they were so close to that bridge. Now they're still holding that particular area. 52 Rage Esports on the other side. They need an opening so that they can just move inside the circle. And look at that, faster. He is still looting out those compounds because he has a level 1 helmet, and we all know level 1 helmet would not provide you that amount of damage reduction basically. That's going to be
certainly.
Level 2 is quite better.
Way better.
Way better.
But let's see what they are going to do in this game. And even Team Bablu, they're not using the bridge, they swam across. It's a long haul that they have successfully completed already. Wolf now successfully crossing without losing any HP for any player. That is really a nice chance for Team Clarity Esports.
They just dropped down towards the northern side of the Georgiapool city. Now they are already present on the military base island. That's how you're gonna enter in the circle. You were talking about the late rotation. This is the fastest rotation right now from the side of Clarity, and this is the best way you're gonna move inside the circle. The second zone will start closing in just a couple of seconds. Now we can see that we still have 11 teams left, 42 players alive, and at this moment Apex secured only 1 kill. Reaper X4 lost 1 player, but still that was a good trade. Now Clarity, the first priority is going to be to search out for some vehicles.
But not a lot of action did come from the bridge, right?
Yeah, not a lot of action coming from the side of the bridge. But Golden Stars, the players are inside the blue zone, taking some amount of damage from the blue. And look at this. this view, the cinematic view. It is so beautiful. And look at the position of Hasni. It's more beautiful.
Well, it really is. It really is. And let's see. Hasni, he's heard us. Blocking the bridge. The military one. That's going to apply pressure on a lot of teams. Let's see. He's just seated beautifully in the next shot of the circle, clearly moving towards the military base bridge. So the early rotations, all of them coming very fruitful for all these teams. And now, let's see how these teams are going to make this move.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be the best point you can ask from me right now. And the answer is just follow as well as just do whatever you heard say. But look at that. Oxy OP spots down the players of Sky, and as he was on very low HP, his Bucky was on very low HP as well. Oxy still continuing fire and not stopping yet. Finally, that cover of the compound is going to provide as well as give a lot of time for that one single player as so that he can heal himself up. But Golden Stars, they have to move inside the circle because after this zone shift, the circle, it is going to be a little bit far away from them. It might be, but we have the airdrop to another AUG inside the airdrop.
Well, yes, another AUG out here, but this is towards the other side of the bridge.
Oh, Nova Ripnoi, in fact, the Nova Ripnoi bridge.
Yeah, towards the main island. That's what I meant. But there's a rotation incoming from behind of 52 Rage.
They are just holding this.
Yeah,
this
they are.
Good move, for
And
sure.
This altercation is inevitable. Let's see which is the Steve that is just arriving from the northern edges.
Cairo. Okay, he plays his buggy. He's basically parked his buggy perfectly. On the other side, the other players of 52 Rage already have a good area so that they can hold on. Now, Apex, they have control of the C building, and they are still holding those compounds. The ground is on the other side, looking pretty comfortable in this circle. Cairo spots down one buggy. Look at that. That buggy, it is gonna fall into that red trap. Reaper X with that perfect bridge cam spots down the players of NFP Sky. Sky will go down for sure because they lost two players. Basically, two players got knocked out. On the other side, Quraysh Esports, they will move. They will enter inside the circle from the water areas.
And this is Reaper X. Hasni in action once again. And Deadshot, he's applied that first. Oh, he's applied the first hit timely, and now he's giving the damage as well. It's looking good for Team Sky. They're finding this altercation out inside the blue. So the damage from the blue is also going to be part of the situation. And look at this. Well, all this is happening. A team gets an easy passage, and they've taken both their vehicles and multiple players cross across the bridge. And what an amazing move coming in from them. Wow. They're not interested what is happening over here.
They certainly are not interested in what's happening over here. But look at that. They survived this NFP Sky. Khatir. This man is so good. Now, at this position, we saw they secured one kill. Now they will continue their journey towards the safe zone. But Rage, look at that. Humsey going to blow up the vehicle of Bilal, and Dubai will go down as well. 52 Rage found two opening. In fact, looking too great. So we can see the same thing for Golden Stars playing on the edge.
What an amazing rotation they just carried off. And now they're finding someone at this very spot where they have landed. And let's see how they're going to deal with this. Because not quite far away, they got Jigsaw over here.
PMCO Esports. Oh, wow. The compound. This is going to be a pivotal part for their
Yeah, but they arrived quite early, right? So let's see. But oh, look at this. Healthy getting picked off over here. This is Vampire for you, just outside the circle. But Team Sky, they got to make the rotation. They got to leave Deadshot behind because he's so much caught out in the open. It's not going to be an easy revive even if they try to do so. But look at that. The play zone taking players down from Quraysh Esports. Even Mani goes down. Now, let's see. Is he going to get gate kept over here? Vampire trying to get away from the blue. And yes, he's going to get allowed. But no, it wasn't possible for Deadshot at all. No, it wasn't possible at all.
Oh, yes. I thought it is going to be. But that blue zone just dished out. The blue zone was dishing out consistent amount of damage onto that knocked out player. Now, NFP Sky just two players surviving from the side of this team, and what we have in the airdrop 3, the meat grinder, that is Groza, level 3 kit, and we can see North Esports have a good control of this mountain and the circle. Look at this shift, Grouper.
Well, yes, interesting shift. And now, this higher ground that North Esports is holding. Maze on your screen now, giving a really hard time to Team Star to find some sort of a shelter. Down towards the lower ground over here. And Darku just leading the charge for his team. Let's see if they're going to be allowed to close in or not. Ghosta with his card. And look at that, he picks one down. Team Star, Anonymous, he's out of the equation.
Yeah, he got eliminated from the lobby. Now starts brought down to only 3 players on the other side. We can see North Esports utilizing this height advantage, this altitude perfectly into their favor. Snow, they lost Snow, but still they found 1 kill. Fury, oh, his head was visible. Right now, he's pretty safe.
Well, he really looks safe over here, so it's a decent situation. But Team Star are not looking in a very good spot, and even the zone is not favoring them, to be really honest. So these players are not going to leave them away easily, and they're just going to keep pinning them down. The shots being taken constantly, even in different directions.
But look at that, 52 XR, they're inside the blue zone. Only 2 players from the side of Star, they are inside the blue zone. 1 is pretty far away, and that is going to be a risky move. Ghosta on the other side, we can see the kill confirmation. Bablu stepping up, taking down the players of Reaper X. HBR goes down, and now that was a clean burst shots from the side of DP, and that was a headshot. Now Mage still looking out for the same angle. We still have 35 players left. Reaper X, only 1 player surviving from the side of that one team.
Well, definitely. But we're still just waiting for North Esports to sort of create more openings on Team Star over here. And kudos to them to still survive for so long. They're playing a very patient game. But Ghosta with that flank angle now creating more pressure. And on the other side, we've even got Team Apex that are being part of this equation as well. Let's see how they're going to deal. Oh, ZARAR, he creates that opening. And now he's just going to try and finish him off. No chances whatsoever. He just created that flank angle for himself, yes, to get some more kills, but he's getting punished instead. But now, the 4th circle is almost getting closed in over here. This is the 19th minute of the game, but still we have got 11 teams that have just made sure to be part of this action towards this military island. So, a lot of big rotations that have already been executed. We have no idea where Clarity Esports is stationed right now. Look at Wolf.
Oh,
he goes down instantly.
52 Rage have an advantage, takes down 2, and now that we saw that trade has already been the same situation for both the teams. But look at that, Hamzi slowly and steadily closing in, takes down 1. Oh, basically he spots down 1, but at the end that spray, that Scarlet spray was so perfect from the side of 420. He has a very low HP, faster, spots him down. M762 is the perfect weapon in the close range fight.
Well, it is certainly, and you can do a lot of damage with that. And look at this, just completing onto the kills. 420 boy, he goes out now. And look at this, Zipian. Oh, Zipian manages to get this in his favor. Very, very important one. But how long? Oh, he goes down. This is not looking good for Clarity. Towards the northern edge of the circle, that is where they're being pinned down. 52 Rage, giving them significant damage when they've regrouped the players as well. Only Faster is knocked down, but Team Grounders are holding a really high ground over all of them. And look at that, even Zipian gets picked off.
But from a different team, and that is Total Esports. Baby Kairos heard those sounds, and now he dished out some amount of damage, but received as well. And the situation is favoring 52 Rays because they are inside the circle. Bablu Dani was out in an open, and Mom just going to secure the final kill. 11th position is the spot. Clarity takes an exit, secured only 1 total kill points. Now, 52 Rage, all the 4 players are alive. 4 clears being secured by this team. Apex making things difficult for 2 teams. Star Zyro G got picked off, as well as Golden Stars also being pinned down behind those trees.
Yes, they are. But this is to look at the southern edge of the circle. So much traffic over here. Golden Stars, Apex, and you can see multiple teams still trying to make their way inside the zone. It's going to be very difficult for them. But Team Grounders, they're so beautifully seated on a high ground. But even getting picked off in the distance, that is not looking good for them as well. But the remaining players of Apex in the 2-2 split, they now make an appearance towards the southern edge. Let's see what sort of an impact can they make. Oh, they're going further towards the western side. And that is exactly where Team Grounders are holding up. They're not going to allow them an easy passage. And Knight takes down both of them easily.
With that one spray, in fact, going to secure a kill. Rochi will takes an exit from the lobby. 52 Rage, 4 kills again, holding the edge of the circle, still inside the circle. Fifth zone is closing in, and look at that. Adi OP from the side of Quraysh, he's still surviving, and that he is the last hope from that single team. Knocked on very low HP. Okay, now on back to 75, but look at that. Adi and Nocto, they are pretty close to each other, but this Rage,
well, he's
separating them.
It really is. Now Nocto, he's just charging in without a lot of information. Adi might just pick him off, and look at him. Adi just allowing him to survive in front of him.
You know what? He's just waiting for the perfect moment.
What better moment does he need over here?
Come on, Nocto, you will go down.
And look at his teammate, baby. Just trying to come in. And let's see. Adi now has this challenge in front of him. The utilities are definitely going to come into the equation. Let's see if he goes down. But now with the next shot of the circle, he's going to find himself outside the play area. And this is going to be the challenge because he's got to pin this player in front of him. And only then he would be allowed a space inside. But he retreats, takes up a better position, regroups with his team and goes towards the compound, and that is an important move coming in from Portal Esports.
But look at that, Golden Stars, Apex, both the teams are pretty far away from the safe zone. 60 meters is the distance now. They have to close in as soon as possible because they have only 10 seconds left on the clock. 52 XR, they are doing a pretty decent job, but now the important part is how these teams will make a move and how they're going to move inside the circle because a lot of teams already gatekeeping for them.
They really are, and even Golden Stars, they're not looking in a very good spot. Already lost 2 players. North Esports just closing in on them from the southern side. This is a dangerous situation for them to handle. But Portal Esports, they came towards these compounds for the concrete cover, and even Team Grounders are pushing inside. Look at them arriving in numbers. North Esports get eliminated towards the southern side where they had a lot of challenge to deal with. But look at Juicy's split situation. Even Momto is looking good right now with his teammate Baby. And let's see how they're going to deal with this because this compound is right in dead center, and that's why you see multiple teams just slamming in over here.
And Adi, oh no, he's receiving a lot of damage from a different angle. Faster is the poor one who's just going to pick off that last person, just going to tear down the hopes of that one team, and that is going to be Quraysh Esports for sure. They got eliminated at 6, secured 5 kills again. A great outing for them. Till now, the grounder Shaftar, he is just keep on fighting on top of the players of Golden Star. Lewis hiding inside that smoke, but for how long?
But look at this angle that Shaftar has created for himself. Has he found AB? No, but this nade is looking dangerous. Cairo, oh, he just cancels the nade at the very right time. And let's see, Mom 2. He might just be on the receiving end of this.
Okay.
No.
Third time.
No.
You're not going to say it.
Well, 5 teams, 15 players still part of this. And look at this. There are teams towards the southern edge who are trying to make an appearance. But now, he needs to target this window. Yes, exactly. And that is when he can get the results. No, he does not. And Boom 2 just on the other side of the wall over there. Even Golden Star, AV goes down. And his one teammate is just looking. Let's see what he's going to do. And Hasu very close over there. And Cairo is playing just a very different sort of a game for himself. He's in a very split situation from his other teammates. No idea where they are in the nearby region. They are just towards the northern edge. Yes, but there's no one helping him from this side.
Yeah, but he has sufficient amount of cover. He has a buggy at this moment. But look at that sharpness stepping up, taking down the players of 52 Rage. And now faster, he needs a revival. Mom 2 still sticking with his teammates. Baby, 2 players are surviving from the side. In fact, 3 from the side of Portal Esports. I think so. 1, he is inside that watchtower. Humps on very low HP. He will go down as well.
Well, they need the revive, and Cairo holding on to this position. It's a very important one. Apex Explosive even goes down as well. This is Luis giving them some damage, but now the grounders have spotted the smoke, and they're taking random shots with that suppress. They came down there, and they are still trying to get some damage, but Cairo in that split situation is still trying to survive. The shots are really close from Shapatar, and this one might just even hurt 52 Rage over there, but Apex Bashi has also been eliminated from the game, and with that, Apex are out of the game.
Yep, secured 6 kill point, but Lewis from the side of Golden Stars, he's still surviving. They are still there in the top 4, and this is going to be the best situation they can ever be right now in this Erangel. The grounders, they have good control of this compound. 52 Rage stepping in, slowly and steadily moving inside the circle. Shaftar fighting some random shot inside that smoke, but haven't found a single kill yet in that smoke, but he secured one. Oh, look at that. Rage Zen, distance amount of damage. Again, just reload his weapon, still holding that one particular area, but Juicy, He's still inside that watchtower. And now we can see Lewis slowly and steadily moving in towards that airdrop. Just connect. Or maybe a little bit far away. Does he has any type of smokes or not? Only time will answer my question. And Rage, look at that. They are looking so good with their position. Faster, just going to lob in one grenade inside this one compound. And this could be lethal for Mom2, but he cancelled at the perfect moment.
Well, it can be. And if this nade is going to... Whenever I talk about a nade going towards Portal Esports, the person cancels it. Wow, Portal Esports, yay, I'm here, right here. But let's see, they're still holding that concrete cover. Look at Juicy, he's got to that Archer Tower, that very important flank position that he's holding for his team right now. But still, all the 4 players from Team Grounders, they're still here inside that single story, and they are just surviving over here. Cairo, that X factor for Team 52 Rage is still into the equation, and look at this, he places those shots so beautifully. But now, he's just, he might just get the second one as well, and takes the third one down. That was the knock player, and he just completed the kill. If he can just pop in a nade over there. Oh no, he's going to go with the smoke. He's just trying to scare them away, but Jigsaw spots him and shuts him down.
He just want to flush out the players, but no, it just doesn't work out in a favor. On the other side, Faster needs a revival. Hamzi on the other side closing slowly and steadily, just looking out for that area. Juicy just got knocked down inside the watchtower, so the revival is going to be difficult. In fact, impossible. Cairo slowly and steadily moving back towards his teammates, just want to regroup so that they can revive him, because every single player loved that mad advantage in this type of circle. After 8 seconds, the zone will close and Mom to secure the kill of Cairo.
Well, that's a skill being shown in, because Jigsaw knocked him down, right? And the 3 players deploying so much smoke. They're running out in the open. It's going to be a very difficult run for them. Hasu just moving towards the sniper tower. I don't know why. They've already knocked the player Juicy over there. It's not a very good stance coming in from them. They should rather move towards this house, towards the left-hand side, or maybe just get close to where Mom2 is holding up. If they can get all the 3 players outside that house, it's going to be really difficult for Mom2 to hold on over there. But look at that. The play zone taking their toll on the 2 players over there. But Jigsaw and Hasi, they've closed it, and he just runs inside and gives his kill.
Yep, that was the only option right now, and that was his hustle from a different angle. Tried his level bit, all got pinned down. Now only 2 teams are there. Portal Esports versus 52 Rage Esports. Faster still fighting some random bullets, but no, Mom2 will fall down. This is going to be a 3v1 situation, and Portal Esports, for how long they can survive? The answer is yes, for not so long. They finished at the second, and 52 Rage secured chicken dinner.
Well, the final player just falling down inside a single story panic room. Who thought that? And it was an amazing finish coming in. And 52 Rage Esports, they just managed to get these all-important 24 points. At the start of the day, they had the hashtag 9 position, but now with these amazing points, just jumped to the hashtag 4. What an amazing jump.
Look at that. They dished out 1,948 damage secured, 24 total points. But how many points Portal Esports?
Well, that's a really good question, because they got really good kills for them, and they were really holding the center for a very long time. And with 24 points for the Team 52 Rage out here, and that hashtag 4 position, that's going to even open up more spaces for other teams. Let's see how far these teams have gone up. And it's a really decent performance coming in for a lot of teams. Even North Esports, they were doing a lot of good work, but they were not allowed to enter the certain part of the zone. But talking about other teams, which other team do you think was really more impressive other than these 3?
I think so, Golden Stars, because that one single player, he was like surviving for so long. At the end, he was got picked off by the players of Portal Esports.
Well, certainly. Even AB there, he did a really good fight, but was pinned out eventually, I think, onto the 5th position, so got some really good points for them. But this is Mom2 with the MVP for the game. 5 kills, 614 damage, and he just really played the waiting game for his team for a very long time, and they just got rewarded really. And playing center in this kind of a game, if you get a house that just keeps on staying inside the play zone, it's always going to help you.
Yeah, for sure, always going to help you. And especially whenever any players just think that they're gonna they're gonna toss one grenade inside that one compound in which Portal Esports were hiding, every single time they cancel it. Why? Because Kruber loves to say just kidding.
Well, yes, and Portal Esports getting this amazing game in their favor. But now it's time for top players, and Mom2 has got is already here with 52 Rays, Zen, Faster, Knight, and Maze. They are all here in the top players. There's an amazing game for all these players. But Team Grounders was also a team that were looking good until the point they just gifted their kills to PUBG
Yeah,
Esports.
but look at that. Not Esports, Mage on the 5th, secured only 1 kill, but still dished out 563 damage, and that is massive. We have the match number in front of us. The longest distance kill is 250 meters, secured by Hamzi. Momdu dished out the highest amount of damage, and that is 614. Zigzaw used the most utilities in this particular match, and that is 11.
Wow, 11 utilities in an Erangel game. The number could have gone higher, but 11 is decent enough. But look at that, 52 Rays, Zen getting 2 assists for his team. And we've seen this so many times, right? The team that has the player that with maximum assists generally takes the chicken, and the story is not going to be any different in this one. The match ranking tell you that 24 points for 52 Rays, but Total Esports go away with 19 points.
Yep, on the 3rd, we can see the Grounders are there with total 14 points. Team Apex on the 4th with 12 points. That's impressive. Golden Stars. After that, final player got picked off. They secured total 8 points, 2 kills onto their name, 10 total points secured by this team. Reaper X and Quraysh Esports secured total 9 points. Not Esports on the 8th with total 3 points in their backpack, but 52 Rage, after this amazing gameplay, they jumped on the 4th position in the overall ranking, and that is impressive.
Well, really good numbers for the teams inside the top 5 over there, and it's really going to help them jump a lot inside the overall standings, and that is exactly what these teams are here for, Group A and Group C, and let's see how far they're going to go. Clarity Esports with just 2 points in this game.
Only 2. Despite of the fact they entered the circle
Yes.
so early, they have a good control, but after, when they got engaged in a fight against players of 52 Rage, they got sandwiched between Total Esports as well as 52 Rage. When they lost 2 players, in fact, Nani was so good, but at the end he got picked off. But now let's take a look at the Oppo F19 Pro movements. Let's refresh our memories, Trooper, because I would love to see that fight again. And now this is how Quraysh Esports secure their 4 kills up against the players of PUBG.
Well, yes, this was the fight that was executed inside the city's limits of Yasnaya Poliana quite early in the game, and this was Scorbex just committing everything that they had inside the fight and losing it. So clearly it tells you why they are so low on the positioning points as well. But towards the mid game, we had North Esports pinning down that from Team Star over here. But they also got some trades over here. They got a hold of course this player out here, Gosta, and took him down entirely. But then it was completely 52 Rage's show. And the way Cairo just stationed him as an X Factor close to the compound of Total Esports, it always became, it was a really important thing, right? They could rally so much information for each other. And that is why they could even pick off kills from Team Grounders when they closed it. And really helpful information was executed over here. But this was at the low moment for Team Grounders when they could have just have been eliminated, but the running in inside, gifting your kills, they could have just played the waiting game towards the walls over there.
Yep, and at that, the final moment, we saw 52 Rage secured chicken dinner, and this was the second chicken dinner, played 9 matches. Look at that jump on the 4th. The Grounders on the 3rd with 100 points. Century.
Well, the 13 to touch that mark over here, but let's see if by the end of the day someone will be able to pull down UAG because they've been there on the R-Seg1 position for so long now. Let's see if they're going to be pulled down or not. They're playing really good PUBG Mobile game with 3 chicken dinners already. But Golden Stars, they've already got 2, that 2 on the very first day. Let's see if on this last day for their appearance, can they get a knock?
They get a knock, and that's going to be the important. But Team Apex now, the green marker just into their name, 22nd position in 3rd page of the ranking. They have total 40 points, so they have to collect some more.
Well, they have to, and that is going to be really important because they got the chances today, right? And that's going to expire by the end of the last match today. With this upcoming Miramar, we know who's the kings of Miramar, right? They are inside this lobby of just 13 teams, so they're always going to be the favorites for those 15 points. But these other teams are also very desperate for those points, and let's see how far they're going to stretch themselves to get those. But it's going to be an amazing in the upcoming Miramar game.
For sure, it's going to be an amazing Miramar because Quraysh Esports, they secured only 2 points now. Second map, it is going to be more important for that. But the important part, Corbex, they had a great opening in the Yasnaya Poliana fight, but you know what, where they fall down when they unable to capitalize.
Well, they certainly were not able to capitalize, and I think there was a point when they invested too much of themselves inside that fight, and there's something that you can actually learn from that.
Yeah, our first match is going to be still have 3 matches left for the day, but before that, we take a short break. Coming right up, it is going to be the second match for the day, Miramar.
Here we go now.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what I mean. We got a good thing going. We got a good thing going on.
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile Club Open 2021 Pakistan region. All thanks to, of course, Oppo F19 Pro for making this all happen. Hashtag Wook Up Your Fun. Once again, we have stolen the stage away from Phoenix and, of course, Trooper to take you guys through the games. And in it, now we've got first game taken care of course, where PMCO Esports tried their level best, but 52 got absolutely pincered and moved on along with a reckoning force. But now it is time to jump into the second game of the day, and that is, of course, going to be on the map of Miramar. Once again, these teams are going to be playing their final games today. Though all the teams that are participating today are going to be playing their final games in the semi-final itself, and for that, every single team is going to try and dominate.
Exactly, and talking about the domination, it was in the last match, it was 52 Rage Esports that got the 9 kill chicken, and doing so, they got a huge amount of point as well. Portal Esports, as you perfectly mentioned, they were looking pretty strong. Grounders also had a very good time, but this is the time of this desert action as the flight path has already taken its way, and from downtown to the area of El Pozo, the flight path has already gone away, but it seems that the flight path has disappeared, but not the players. They are already into the frame as now slowly and steadily the flight path is visible. That means the players are also going to make their own heaven, but La Cobreria is an area where Portal Esports are there, but right off the go, is it going to be an early contestation? It is going to be, as Montenegro is occupied by 2 big teams, and one of being them NFP Sky.
But this is something I absolutely love about Pakistan region, right? Compared to all the other regions, this is the most aggressive region, no two ways about it. Right off the bat, no matter what game you jump into, no matter what map you jump into, no matter what teams are there, they are ready to take on some aggressive fights. And it is just 1.5 minutes into the game itself, and we are going to be looking at a first blood situation right here, where of course NFP are joining in along, and of course there is going to be a team right in their vicinity that is going to be right here on our screens, Quraysh Esports, and they are going to be absolutely be abysmal. Hopefully we shall see if that will be the way that this game will turn out for them, because on the other tangent, it's not going to be easy. That of course is for sure, because they are going to be going on against the side of Team Sky, and this team has been absolutely phenomenal. We've seen this team again and again in different tournaments, and has been really phenomenal when it comes to the play style that they bring to the table, the synergy that they work with. But it is going to be Mani utilizing those perfectly set up Molotovs, and is going to be splashing a lot of damage. No, not at all. It was Ash who was able to actually move away from that situation, and it is turning into an interesting positioning where indeed we talk about Quraysh Esports. They have gotten themselves set up in a very interesting 2-man split across this ridge.
Montenegro, right? It is for a long after time that we're getting to see the fight is actually erupting, where Quraysh Esports, they don't have the best of the best loot. We get to see Money just with the UMP, with no healing, with no helmet, with no bag whatsoever. But as you perfectly mentioned, the teams are ready to go take the fight at any point of the stage, be it with the earlier one, be it with the later one. We are getting to see the fights, and that is what the viewers and us also entices us all about. But NFP's players are going for the flank angle, but they need to make sure that it is Money that has had that TPP angle, and in doing so, if headshot from the sides of NFP Sky Sports, if he tries to go from different directions, he might be pinned down, as now they are trying to engulf the player from the sides of Qurayshis, as it is going to be dead shot with that perfectly set up combination of helmet and also of that M416. He's trying to go from the backhand side, but since Money has spotted him down, that information must have been transferred to the rest of the teammates. But Money onto the other side is still quite completely in passive direction. Now grenades are being used, the trajectories are there, and both the teams are pretty much looking and staring into their eyes, but still there is a stalemate situation. The fight needs to be erupted, and they are just waiting for one rookie mistake from any team, and then they will like to pounce upon. There is one little can, and that offers you that energy drink, but I'm sure that Ash won't be getting fascinated over that. But if we talk about that formation, I mean, 2 players from the sides of Quraysh, that is going to be Dubai, and that is going to be Bilal, that is on for different directions. But as you perfectly mentioned, the Helsey's direction, I mean Helsey's flank angle can actually pin down the player, and it seems that Money can be outplayed at any point.
It certainly is looking like it. It most certainly is looking like it. The way Helsey is moving across this entire platform and is going to be coming in behind Mani itself, it is going to be absolutely ludicrous, as he has been spotted, that Mani will be dropped down to his knees. No two ways about it. It is going to be Sky right here taking the kill for himself. What a perfect play this is. I mean, you talk about NFP Sky, the more you talk about, the more you fall in love with this team. This team is absolutely phenomenal in terms of the way that they play, and eventually that is of course being showcased with the team synergy from across the road itself. The kill that was brought on from the side of Sky Khatar as well onto Adi OP has resulted in NFPX Sky just pushing on along as a team together and completely decimating their opponents. In doing so, now we are left with 2 players remaining from Quraysh Esports that are going to be towards the Sky or towards the player Khatar. But eventually we shall see what sort of a play is NFP planning on making in this circle and in this compound.
Exactly, as you perfectly mentioned, they need to actually strategize in order to get close to where the players are there. But it seems for the moment that Bilal and along with Dubai from the sides of Qurayshis, they are falling themselves away. And since it was not their case, it is going to be NFP Sky Sports. But just for a moment ago, we just saw one of the player from the sides of 52x Rage just got himself away and has been blown away when he was just trying to traverse through that vehicle. We have to still wait for that in which part of the fight is actually erupting, and still it is a tense situation where now the fight is said no from the sides of Qurayshis, with Bilal and Dubai falling things apart. It is going to be a stalemate situation, and also peace will be settled. But we can already get to see a lot of cities, the big cities, talk about El Pozo, the ridges, those important ridges are completely open to contestation. And if any team loves to go towards that side, that can be a thing that we might expect the fight. But for the next maybe 7 to 8 minutes, we don't see any sort of fights apart from the eastern side, with the congestion is slowly and steadily increasing, with Portal Esports in the same frame, with Apex, with RPX, with the GS. I mean, there are a lot of teams. We just talk about that. If there is also Grounders, I mean, yesterday's performance, remember, the Grounders were the one they were looking to go kill hungry. In the last game itself, they did falter down in the early stage of the game. And since just you talk about the gameplay itself, right, this is going to be the last 3 games obviously for A and C, so no teams will be leaving any sort of stone unturned, and in doing so, whatever way the point gonna be coming in, be it with the placement, be it with the kill points, the team will be heartily welcoming everything.
Most certainly will. As we move on towards the northern side itself, we do have, of course, Golden Stars right there making a rotation into the comfort of the zone. Very close to them is, of course, going to be the side of RPX as well, and in that moment, it is now moving on along with the same team that brought us our first blood situation. It is going to be NFPX Sky, and they are just completely hunkering down on the position of Quraysh Esports indeed, and as they do so, they seem to have figured out the rotation that Quraysh were trying to make to get out of that area, and it seems like Team Sky, they have taken it to their heart. They did not like the aggressive stance that Quraysh Esports ended up taking against them, and that they have now converted this into a rivalry that they are certainly trying to dominate against, and are doing so gracefully as well, as Dubai has been brought down to almost 40% health, and his teammate not looking too good as well for the moment. Eventually it is going to be Helsi who is going to be setting up the nade parade, and to help him out is going to be Deadshot to give in that cover as well. And Bilal is so far away and out of this fight, it seems like Bilal will probably not be able to help his teammate. Eventually it is going to be Dubai all caught off guard, and eventually it is going to be Deadshot to push on, make that rotation, and eventually it is going to be a kill that will be brought on. Yes, it will. What a play that was. Of course, Helsi was brought down to his knees as well, but eventually the way this was played, there is a lot of eventually in the sentence. What can I say? This is just perfect play from Team Sky. They have created a perfect rivalry right here, and now have brought that rivalry down to the knees. But it seems like there is another team that is going to be chiming in along to bring in a third party against Team Sky.
And that is going to be none other than the king of the Miramar, and that is going to be Clarity. The team Bablu is in the backhand side, as now Danny has received a lot of shots. That means their location has been revealed. It was, for me, that was pretty much presumptuous in order to get that fight started things off, but it seems that now NFP, after still there is one more player left from the sides of the team that they were taking the fight, and that is going to be Bilal, that is still surviving. He really needs to find himself away from the situation, else it will be a complete wipeout. But as soon as Clarity realized that there is a fight going on, it seemed that now they are trying to pin down the players of NFP, but NFP are running out in the open, and this can be one rookie mistake. You just cannot show the back. We have seen in the past, history repeats itself, and whenever you show the back, the leads will be peppered onto you, and you will be given no other chance than to just find himself away from this match, and just resulting one player loss, with which NFP Sky Sports will be playing for the rest of this match.
Absolutely perished, and that too from a shot in the back. It is that has been brought on the team of Team Sky down to 3-man army, and it is none other than, of course, Clarity Esports to thank for that perfect aggressive stance that they were able to make. In doing so, we are going to be looking at the first airdrop of the map coming in, where it is a Groza waiting for a lucky team, and it seems like the Grounders are going to be running for it and gunning for it, and perhaps might even be able to catch a hold of that perfectly set up loot. But talking about the circle itself, on to the western front, there is absolutely no team team that has made a rotation down to is that we can see that Portal Esports are making a rotation into El Pozo for the moment, and there is absolutely no other team that is waiting for them as well. So that is going to be perfect setup affair for Portal Esports, but they have themselves set up in a two-man split that is working for them for now, but we shall see what ends up becoming of the circle of the zone in the next 2 minutes.
Ronnie Truck was the one that was getting a lot of shots, and just because of that it was man, and also the rest of the team, it had to relinquish and abandon it, but in doing so now they are in an open situation. And since RPX, that is going to be obviously one team that to look out for, it is going to be of Reaper X. 2-2 split is where they're standing at this moment, with Myth just trying to make an engulf the player from the back end side. It is also going to be Vampire that will be giving proper assistance, and man, not realizing the fact, just in one spray the tides have been certainly changed, and now Tausif in the desperation move, he's trying to get away from all these fights, but it seems that it is going to be an impossible task for him, but because as soon as he go towards the side, it is going to be the rest of the player from the sides of Reaper X, and this was bound to happen. This was written in their fate, and the fate has resulted them in getting 5 kills, is where Reaper X standing at this moment. But a sad state of affair obviously for Team Apex. I mean, they were completely outplayed, completely engulfed by Reaper X, and they had no other option than to just go down 6 feet under this desert.
Absolutely, just the miraculous turn of events for the side of Reaper X, because they planned it and strategized it. The same, of course, play was showcased from Team Sky as well against the players of Quraysh in the initial few moments of the game, where that long rotation was made. Eventually, this team looking absolutely comfortable as of now. As we move on along to another fight that is erupting, it is going to be none other than North Esports taking on shots against the players of the Grounders, and it is Zameen who seems to have spotted the players of the Grounders, but eventually the Grounders have a compound working in their favor, so that is certainly going to be a little bit of a cover that they are going to be able to utilize. But again, the information has been given away. For now, the circle also actually helping both of these teams' causes, because they do not have to make a rotation. But this is only going to last for a few minutes. Eventually, of course, as the game progresses on along, as the circle moves on away, the teams are going to have to retaliate. And what a play that was. A long shot, but certainly on point it was, and North Esports get their knock. Even though they seem to be doing pretty good, they had the advantage of the hill as well. It was the perfect approach and pinpoint accuracy coming in from the Grounders that resulted in that knock.
Now Daku trying to retaliate with the same mini 14 tap shots. Will he be able to take at least one knock? He needs to actually take the vengeance for his player, but till now the player will be getting the revival. There we go. Khatir goes down from the sides of Team Sky, as now Clarity has started pinning them down, and we know the history repeats itself, and in the past we have seen the Clarity, the Team Clarity actually shows, that's obviously of the Team Bablu. In the past, whenever they try to play the game of Miramar, it's them that eventually comes out to be victorious. That's still the 12 minutes and 50 seconds of the game, and still be too early to say, but the momentum with which they are coming in with this in this match, this is looking pretty good at the moment. And there we go, Zabyan and Dani onto the charge. They are just looking to go to finish off the player, but it seems that it will be an easy task for them, as there is no other player to give and support him and give the backup. And Dani with his M249, that mini generator, he is marching towards the player, as now rest of the pack is completely separated to the player that is just beating off, but in doing so, resulting that it is one more team that is obviously going to be of 52 Rage Esports. They were making a rotation, but Clarity Esports have spotted them down, but they won't go for the overextension, and that is one good thing. I mean, you need to have aggression, but toned with a bit of strategic gameplay.
Absolutely, and this is exactly what NFP did to Quraysh Esports as well, as they got 2 players moved on into the lobby, away from the lobby. They pushed on to take care of the other 2 remaining players as well, and that is when we saw Greed being taken over the Team Sky, and as they did, they gave away the audio cues to the players of course, Clarity, and now Clarity have resulted with them with the exact same gift, and in doing so, it is going to be the team of Team Sky, NFP, brought on down to a 2-man squad for the moment. As Clarity have done their job, they will be pushing on along towards a different position altogether into the area. And talking about the fight that was taken on right here, where the Grounders were taking on players against the players, was taken on a fight against the players of course, North Esports. It is Corbex who find themselves in the vicinity and are going to chime in along to take some kills for themselves. As of now, they have none.
Winchester in action. I mean, we don't have a lot to see of Winchester Sarge, because there are a lot of other DMRs available, but I would love to see how the player actually strategizes well, because in the early stage of the game, it's just the rudimentary loot with which the player go. But if any player is really relying on this 0.45 caliber ACP, I mean, I would really love to see how the actually gun works and what sort of damage he would be able to dish out onto the other players. But it seems that now Cops will also be making a move into the circle, as 800 meter is going to be long distance in terms of the teams that are available, because still now the match started with a good pace. I mean, you talk about those early start off, but then it just is breathing in its own pace, as we're just getting to see the grounders are also making a move into the zone with Zigzo, Shapter, Knight and Hasu. All the 4 players are looking strong at this moment. 1 kill secure. The teams are looking hungry, and with greedy approach they might be moving into the zone, with the players also getting a lot of level 3 helmet and level 3 vest. They are completely looking power packed performance, and with the big bird also flying into the sky, that means one more exclusive drop might land into some different players' lap. But the circle shift is one that will be favoring, obviously, that is obviously going to be of Golden Stars. These are the stars that really need to shine upon themselves, and will this be a case or not? We have to still wait for that. But as soon as the circle made a shift, it is going to be a complete ruckus around the circle, where the northern side, the L of El Pozo is completely open, and there are a lot of ridge where the teams, especially from the sides of Reaper X, the players can actually get hold of that. But in doing so, it is Portal Esports that is sitting in the red dead smack center, and they can really have an influential gameplay. On to the other hand side, it is going to be multiple teams that are rotating from the southern side. Talk about the grounders, talk about the Cops, and certain teams are facing the brunt of the blues.
Absolutely are, and that was of course where Cobb lost one more of their players, and thus this team has resulted in a 2-man squad for the moment. As we move on along with the game, we do see 52x Rage taking on a fight against the players of Team Sky. Team Sky's 2 last final players remaining. RF4 is going to be Healthy and Deadshot right here, but they find themselves in the vicinity of the compound that is being taken over by 52x's Rage, and that Rage is certainly going to be pincering down the position that Team Sky have found themselves in, and in doing so, even though they are in the comfort of the zone, but of course the safety is not given to the teams that are going to be in the zone itself, because you are talking about the 4th zone and there are still 12 teams remaining, 40 players in total, and in all of that it seems like Quraysh's final player is going to get himself a perfectly set up loot for all because he's just a one-man army. He's going to need that loot, and of course it is a passive approach that hopefully he'll be working towards, or he could very well get overconfident and move on completely aggressing with the loot that will be able to get in his hand. On the other side, it was of course Golden Stars, as Ankit was mentioning, who were down towards the western front of the zone itself, are taking a fight of their own.
And it is going to be Team Star that is on the receiving end. 2-2 split, in which North, obviously Team Golden Stars are in a split and playing at this moment. What sort of influential gameplay they will be making for themselves, that is still going to be a big question, because they are still not able to bring at least one knock onto the players of Team Star, and just because of that, I mean, they are losing a lot of time, as Blue will be approaching sooner and slowly and steadily. And before that, it seemed that Golden Stars must be hungry to get at least one knock, and there we go. It seemed that the knock is there, and the kill confirmation will also be there instantly. But Zyro G is also getting a lot of shots from different direction, and this time it is going to be 52x Rage and the... Okay, so I mean, I really wanted to see whether 33 AK will be taking the kill or not, but it seems that it is going to be 52 Rage will be finishing things apart for himself, and it was not looking good for one team. And since it was not looking good, the player has been finished off, and now Golden Stars AB making sure that there is no more other player left. He is just trying to scout down the players, and he will be slowly and steadily moving into the zone.
Oh man, that's not good. 52x Rage just completely stole the kills away from Golden Star. Golden Star were part of that fight for quite some time. They had pinned down the team of Star for a little moment and were certainly wanting to convert that into a kill for themselves, but 52x Rage just steps in along and completely from the flank angle steal the kill away from this team of Golden Stars, and still Golden Stars with 0 defeats to their name as of now. No points broken in this team's favor, but eventually they are taking a lot of information as they find themselves in a very wonderful position of the zone itself, and along with that, of course, the King of the Hill situation working for them, my word. And now it has gone away from Golden Stars indeed, and it is going to be now Portal Esports, who were in the center of the previous zone, now finding themselves at the edge, and along with that, it is also going to be North Esports, who find themselves the safety of the compounds as well. So for Portal Esports, it is certainly the height advantage that's working in their favor, but on the other tangent, talking about North Esports, it is certainly the compounds, and that is certainly going to be helping them quite a lot. But as the rotations are being made from these teams, it is not looking good for the teams that are moving in from the southern side, because there are so many teams getting into the zone from the south, but from the north, it is only Reaper X.
Reaper X again, a very good chance if they get hold of all those important ridges. There's not a lot to play, but still enough tough for them, even if they want to have an influential gameplay. But in doing so, it is going to be Quraysh's player, and that will be taking down obviously one team, and in doing so he will also be on the receiving end, and that resulting him getting thrown away from the lobby. But now it is a fight between two teams, and that is going to be between of Team Stars and GS. That is obviously going to be of Golden Star. So a lot of stars already into the fight, and which star is going to be shining, that only depends upon their teammates and the player. But for the moment it is going to be DGs that are on the receiving end. The grounders are being grounders, they have been hunkered down as now Golden Stars. They have made a rotation, but the moment they have made a slam in, it is going to be North Esports that will be taking care of him, with Zameen getting one kill. Now the bank account has been open for North Esports, and now they might be looking to get more and more kill. But for the moment it is the important, those compounds that are holding on the west side of the east side of the circle is completely going into the favor, and that is going to be one good thing that will be favoring them. But for the moment it is Pablu's Dani. Obviously he is on the domination mode. I mean, we have seen in the past how this lad actually plays, and since they are on a run in the early stage, initial stage of the game, they were pinning down the NFP's player, and now it is going to be a complete decimation for the grounders, as all the four players are just going kill hungry, with Housu just surviving. It's just a moment of a time when he will also be taken care of, and yes, he will be taken care of as the grounders have been eliminated right off the go. 21 minutes, not a lot of fight has been erupted, but Pablu getting 6 kills out of it.
Absolutely, this team is looking absolutely phenomenal with 6 kills to them. But one storyline that I do want to mention is going to be before Quraysh's final player was sent back in the lobby, thanks to, of course, the team of Pablu, where indeed it is ZARAR Esports who made that perfect knock and brought Quraysh's final player into the lobby. Quraysh, we saw, was the one-man army who moved on to get the loot, and then he actually took the fight back to NFP as well, and Team Sky was eliminated thanks to that final player's push from Quraysh Esports. So again, that rivalry that they created has certainly worked in terms of a dominating play for Quraysh, being the one that had the final blow and the final last say in that exact fight. But move that conversation to this fight. It is going to be Clarity now pushing on to the players of 52X, and 52X have been caught off guard. What a play this was, where indeed it was 420 boy who was so close, almost like 10 HP remaining on him, but still was able to manage to get the kill for himself, and 52X are being eliminated at this point thanks to Clarity.
Dani on the 5-kill Grenadier title also goes into his favor, and they are looking just unstoppable at this moment. Now the question remains, how are they going to be making an entry into the circle, as 70 meters is what they need to travel, and this 70 meter is going to be 1070 meter, as it is going to be a lot of team into the center line of the circle, as now Modified have found themselves in all these ruckus positions, and at this position it is going to be suicidal for them before they are taken down. It is going to be Portal Esports baby that is also pinning down the player. So now the curve ball is all of a sudden thrown onto the player of the Clarity Esports. The team that has flourished in the early stage of the game are now getting the better half of it. 10 kills Blotter is what they have secured, but all the 3 players are knocked, and the one player that is still surviving is still on the feet. He is trying to make a maneuver, but with one more player getting finished, it is looking too bleak, and it is going to be tough for them to come out of that predicament.
It certainly is looking pretty tough for them. It is going to be Portal Esports' Mom2 right here with the SKS, perfectly setting up those knocks against the players of Clarity, and eventually will be able to bring 2 of their players down. But the final player was able to get the revival before they try and get into the zone. It is going to be a conversation that Modified are going to have with them, and indeed in doing so, Modified has been able to bring down Dani. Dani was certainly looking really phenomenal in terms of the nades and the parades that he was able to create, but the final conversation will be in favor of Amish, and he will be the one who will take the fight to the face of Clarity Esports for now. With that, 6 teams remaining in this lobby, where 3 of them have just one-man army situations.
Portal Esports from the eastern side, they are making a move into the circle with SLR into hand. I mean, we have seen in the earlier game as well, the SLR can do a detrimental amount of damage, and especially in the game of Miramar, when we have a lot of players getting that SLR into the hand, the detrimental damage can be as massive as they can be. And now Portal Esports making a move into the circle. I mean, they really need to cross the road, and in doing so, they are using a lot of smokes. And but before that happens, it is going to be Mom2 that's still using the SLR just in order to pin down the players, with Juicy making a move from the right hand side. He needs to make sure that it's going to be Amish that is still holding himself into the cloud. Smoke cloud is pretty much thick, but in all the thick situations, he really need to find himself away. Reaper Explosion has been completely found out by Juicy, and he is the one that is going for the flank angle approach. North Esports on the other hand side coming in from the eastern side. 3 players still alive with 4 kills. They must be charging upon to get more and more kills. Zibyan goes down. All of a sudden, North Esports knows nades are working pretty well.
They most certainly are. North Esports absolutely on point in terms of the gameplay that they are showcasing, but Portal Esports still looking very dominating. The circle has moved away from them. It is going to be North Esports that might be able to get a better half of the circle eventually, but as they do so, we cannot forget that Reaper X is also part of the fight, and Reaper X have players as well. They have 6 kills as well, and this team is looking really destructive. Mid this, we have seen this lad perform and outperform the competition. They are just absolutely pincering down the players of North Esports, and in that conversation, it is Reaper X who is seeming to have a better situational awareness and fight, and are going to be getting into the zone as well. What a play this is turning out to be, but for the X factor, it is Portal Esports' Nocto who is now going to be riding in Storm against the players of course, Reaper X, and Reaper X have been pincered down. One knock has been confirmed, and as the nade brings in another knock, no, not right now, but of course the nades are on point, and that is going to be quite a difficult task for Reaper X to deal with.
At one point of time, Portal Esports were not looking as that good, because for northern side it was also Reaper X that was coming in, but in doing so it has resulted that all the 4 players has come in, not only from the sides of Portal Esports but also from the sides of Reaper X. But in doing so, it seemed that Nocto has been thrown away from this lobby with that grenade. Juicy has secured 1 more kill, and that being said, it seemed that it was a game end for North Esports. Now this is a 4v2 affair, especially 3v3 affair. It's going into the sides of Portal Esports, and Juicy is now getting 1 more kill. The team is looking just unstoppable at this moment. 9 kill is where the whole team is standing at this moment, and it's just a matter of time, because Portal Esports with that flank angle, it is pretty much looking doable for themselves until and unless they do a small sort of mistakes. Maybe just going for that open push is where they can falter down. But if this grenades gets connected, if these sort of trajectories are made, it is looking so much impossible for the sides of Reaper X to get even close to other chicken. But 1 grenade straight into the lap of Hasnite, and he has fallen down.
What a play this has turned out to be for Portal Esports. Mom2, of course, pushing on along with the final player, not looking too good in terms of his health. It is going to be MP, and it is going to be the end for the lad. Portal Esports, domination is what they showcased by the end of this game. Of course, the circle also moved on along towards their position, thus giving them the X factor that resulted in them taken this chicken by a storm. 11 kills is what Portal Esports walk away with. 9th position in the overall ranking. 26 points is what this team was able to accumulate from this gameplay, with 2,116 damage dished out. Amazing turn of events for Portal Esports indeed, as eventually they have gotten themselves in the top 16. Also with that, some amazing kills and sprays were showcased from this side.
I mean, indeed, what a performance from the sides of Portal Esports. Not only the chicken they secured, they really had a good number and tally in terms of the kill that it did secure. And in this last moment, as you perfectly mentioned, the circle favored them, but they didn't wait for the circle to push them, rather take the fight on their own will. And then we got to see Portal Esports. The last game, they were the team that did falter down and came second. And in that, it is going to be again Mom2 from the sides of Portal Esports, getting 5 kills, 954 of total damage, 2 assists. Healing done is none. Healing done is none in all these fights. He was a lad that didn't get a single lead onto his body.
Wow. Wow, I mean, these are stats that you do know. You're talking about a player who has been so very phenomenal and in top form of his gameplay, of course. With that, of course, as we move on along, the top players list will be coming onto our screens any minute now, where we do see, of course, Portal Esports' Mom2 chiming in as the MVP. But what about the other lads? Who were closer? Who were the closest when it comes down to the stats? It is going to be Clarity Esports' Dani, and no question about it, Dani was so on point in the fights that we saw him take, with the nade parade that he was showcasing against the opponent teams as well. 6 kills, 492 damage is what he got, and then followed by Reaper X's 2 players. That is going to be Mythdes as well as Hipper.
Exactly, as you perfectly mentioned. And yesterday's gameplay, it was also Hipper from the sides of Reaper X that really got it good in terms of the total placement points and also the kill points he was securing. But Bablu Dani, certainly the man of the moment. Highest kill is what he stands at the moment with Zibian, 306 meter longest distance kill. He was reigning supreme with that mini tap shots in this desert island, and then it came for the moment for Portal Esports Mom2 with the highest damage, and Portal Esports really outplayed each and every team. But before that happened, it was also Clarity Esports getting a lot of kill, and thus justifying their total positioning and kill points of total 18 is where they stand at this moment. It is them at the third position after this match ranking, where they came third in terms of the total placement. But Reaper X really had a very good time, and also Portal Esports that got this chicken. 11 kill is what they're standing, with North Esports getting not a lot of placement, not a lot of kill, but still the placement 15 is what they stand at this moment. But certain teams really did falter down. Do you remember Quraysh Esports? Those early fights, they did secure 2 kills, but resulting them in getting eliminated with just 1 placement points, and accumulating both makes a total of just 3. And certainly Apex was not there. It was not their game.
Absolutely. With that, let's move on along through the Oppo F19 Pro moments and bring in the highlights of this game.
Indeed it is, and this refreshes the memory, where it was a complete outplayed gameplay from the sides of Deadshot, where from the backhand side it was him that just turned around the fate, and then it was an all easy affair for Ripper to rip things apart onto different directions. It was a charge in from the sides of Clarity Esports. Team Bablu, 2 players did survive, but then they just found themselves in somewhere down the line, caught in the rotation, and obviously Team Sky was just pinned down to death.
They certainly were, and that was, of course, once again thanks to the final player of Quraysh Esports indeed, and that rivalry, we shall see if it will carry on through the day or not. For now, of course, we've got 2 games remaining right now. Right here, this is when Clarity just completely obliterated 52X as well, and that doing so, they moved on along with that much more of a domination, and dominating force is what this team was. But this is when things went a little disarray for them, because they were caught against the pledge coming in from the side of Portal Esports and also from Modified indeed, and resulted in being eliminated, and thus bringing us to the final 2 teams remaining, where it was the nades that were being brought on from the side of Mom2, who was just so on point in the entirety of that fight, that resulted in the team walking away with a chicken dinner, thus moving us to the overall ranking, where we do see North Esports are on the 3rd spot, jumped up along with Reaper X, who are going to be with 103 points, finding themselves on the 4th spot. The Grounders 52X, having had a decent run, are going to be on 5th and 6th position. So certainly looking like a very good affair for so many of these teams who just played the game. Team Sky also chiming in on 8th position.
Exactly, a lot of teams from the groups that are playing for today's gameplay. Grounder, this is also one team that really did falter down, and just because of that, they still have a good positioning point, so total point is looking pretty well, but that could have been increased, but there is not a lot of difference. If you just talk about the first team that is with 139 points, and the team even on the 6th, just a total of 38 point difference, and that can be covered in one game if that really is actually in your favor. High fracking game is what that can actually help them. Well, not in one, if the 2, that can really be the case. But Portal Esports really getting a game in their favor. And finally, the one chicken that they really waited for has gone in the favor. 86 total point is what they stand for now. And a lot of total of the 86 point has come from the kill, because it's 44 against the 42 placement points. So kill tally is where Portal Esports goes too hungry. But then it is the 3rd half of the chart from 17 to 24, where teams like Modified coming in from the sides of Group C, certainly not looking good. 10 total matches, 52 total points. The placement points and total points is still decent, but not enough to find themselves in the top 14 and top 16.
Absolutely, and that is going to be the storyboard for the moment. We still do have 2 games remaining, Sanhok as well as, of course, one final Erangel, and these teams are bringing a lot of incredible moments throughout these plays, of course, but eventually we shall have to see what sort of a play style, or rather what sort of a storyboard will be left at the end of the day, what sort of an overall standing will be looking at, because after all, when it comes to the finals itself, the regional finals will be including 14 of these teams. The top 14 teams will move on 4th, and in that it is looking like a very close, tightly knit affair in terms of the points. With that, we have done 2 games. We are going to go on a short little break. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Here we go now.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile Club Open 2021 Pakistan region. A big thanks to, of course, Oppo F19 Pro for making this all happen. Hashtag Wook up your fun. We've got 2 games done from the day and now 2 still remain. Now we're going to be moving on to Sanhok. So let's have a look at the schedule indeed, where we did see when it comes down to the chicken dinners that have been won. It was some incredible plays being showcased from the side of course, Portal Esports in the previous game. Before that, it was 52x Esports.
Exactly, 52 Rage finishing day off in style. Starting days off in style, and it was Portal Esports getting chicken. It was Portal Esports in first game that was looking pretty good, but then they just faltered on numbers advantage. But when they were in numbers advantage, when the zone came in, when they were in momentum with a lot of kills, they made sure that they will be getting all the important 15 points. And not only that, that was also high fragging gameplay. We just talk about that. But this game, Sanhok, this is going to be a lot changing thing, because in the first half of the chart, we saw that there is not a lot of point difference. So any team, any one fine game has the ability to get there on the top on the #1 or maybe #2 or maybe top 5 contestation is just open for everyone. But talking about the flight path, every time we get to see these flight paths in the game of Sanhok, irrespective of what the flight path, each and every team can go towards the same area where they need to find themselves into with those long glides. But the Portal Esports, we've seen in the past, they love to go towards the area of obviously on the western side, and slowly and steadily bootcamp will be occupied with some of the team Paradise Zord. But as we just saw in the game of Miramar, those early contestation, that is just a contrast to the customaries. But since Sanhok always invites those early clashes, what do you think? Will we be getting some street or still be a passive game?
Well, it should be an aggressive one. It most certainly has been when it comes to these games that we've been casting in the past 2 days. And yep, there you go, right off the bat. You don't even have to wait for the glide part to be done. And it is 52x going up against Team Sky right there, we can clearly see. And it is going to be towards the Paradise Resort for the moment.
2 big teams. 2 big teams. One team that got the chicken and one team that is desperately seeking for one more chicken is on a run. Now, it is going to be 4v4 affair. Whoever gets the better half of other one will be the one that will be getting the chicken, with other player from the sides of NFP Sky completely isolated with these 2 players. That is going to be Healthy and Deadshot. It is certainly now the moment, now the time that NFP, from my opinion, from my recommendation, either they fall off or just ask for the cover, because sooner or later 52 Rage are the more wise teams in terms of what they how they read their gameplay. If they get these all infos, they might be charging upon, and in that situation it will be really tough for these 2 lads to actually survive the onslaught and the heat that they might bring in. But Khatir is really holding that that good flank angle from the left hand side. Even if any player from the sides of 52 Rage tries to come in the open or tries to outsmart the player, they will be just smacked with their head being shot down. And since it is the one thing that NFP Sky Esports have listened to us, I guess now they are falling apart. They are falling apart from the obviously Paradise Resort, but if they fall more apart, they will be finding themselves in the position where Reaper X is already positioned. That means NFP at this point looks unstable for me.
Well, again, that is certainly looking like to be the case, but we shall see if that is where they make their rotation turn out to be, or a different affair altogether. Interestingly, the circle has the entirety of course, Camp Alpha Island indeed, and that could mean that we could very well be moving on and have these teams actually move on towards that island as well, and that is going to be absolutely ludicrous. I hope that absolutely ends up happening. But for the moment, we're just a few minutes into the game, and as we walk out to Kampong, we are looking at Quraysh Esports, very, very close to Corbex. And yep, my word, there we go. Quraysh Esports are going to be taking the fight in the right off the bat itself. They're about 800, 900 meters away from the center of the zone itself. But that does not matter, because eventually, when it comes to the play that they have been able to make, it is looking absolutely perfect, because Corbex have been caught in the open and they have been able to get a lot of knocks. Now the kills are being confirmed. Eventually, one by one, it is going to be Corbex's players being brought on down.
Exactly, and slowly and steadily they are being hammered down with a lot of ledge onto the players, as now Quraysh are pretty much close towards where the Corps player are positioned. And with that being said, it is going to be a tough task for Quraysh, but some really bizarre projectile is what we're getting to see. So some interesting things are already happening in the early stage of the game. And there we go, Corpsaf has been knocked from, and not only knocked, he has been finished eventually. And both the teams are pretty much 900 meters away from the zone, and this is going to be a daunting task, as now they are indulging and erupting themselves into fight. This time it is going to be Quraysh Esports that are with the 4-men strong, but all of a sudden it was obviously Cops that was 4-men strong, but now it is just the one player, Irfan, surviving, and that tree trunk is not thick enough to actually let that bullet shield away from himself, and with him getting spotted down from different direction, it is a complete decimation that Quraysh is trying to bring them down, and they are just hunting for that one last kill. If secured, they will be really happy to go, but before that happens, it is going to be Irfan that has been a lot of knock, and Dubai goes down, money goes down, all of a sudden he is trying to turn the table.
Wow, what a play, what a perfect spotting this is from the side of Irfan, and now he's going to push on along to the final player. It is a 1v1 situation, and eventually he will be falling down, but an amazing spray is what he showcased. It is Bilal who shall have to now quickly run back up to get his teammates' revival, of course, confirmed, and as he does so, Quraysh Esports looking very, very confident and comfortable with the focus that they've been able to confirm, but that almost went south with that one final player of Corbex being so very precise with his sprays.
He was so precise, and so was Irfan from the sides of Corbex that really brought a lot of knock, and for a moment, the players and the IGLs, their heart would have been so beating at this point at the so fast rate. We just talk about that because all the three players were knocked for a moment, but then it was just the Bilal that really survived, and he was the savior, he was the hero. But as we move forward, it is going to be again F52 Rage that is indulging a fight between FP Sky Esports and now M249 into the action. That means at any point, at any time, 52 Rage can be pulled down to their knees, as now Halsey surviving it just on sliver of an HP. He needs to patch himself, but before he patches, he will the one that will be get the better half, as now Faster is using all the utilities to its perfection, with Cairo using some more. He is just trying to flush the players out, and all of a sudden, with Zayn being knocked down, it seems that he will be getting the revival, but for sure, Faster is making sure that no other player survives the same proximity, and before that happens, it is going to be Halsey that will be completely finished, with Khatir giving the revival to the players of NFP. If the revival comes into the right time, it will be again 3 players standing from the sides of Team Sky, and then they can give a very decent fight. But for the moment, it is again 1v1 fight. In that situation, M249 into action does the job, as now Khatir has been fallen down, but still Kairo's M249 is still silent and still waiting for him when he will be able to bring at least one knock, as now Cairo falls down. He needs the revival, with Khatir going down, Halsey going down. Everything resides on the shoulder of this lad. Deadshot, what does he have? What does he have in his back? What sort of experience does he have? What sort of X factor will he bring? We have to still wait for that. The play wasn't open. He should have finished him off, but reload is one thing that you need to take care of, and it's not one thing that you need to do on the face of their enemies.
Rage Zen was the X factor in this. He just jumped out of that from behind that rock indeed, and that is something that Deadshot was not anticipating. He had his crosshairs and his mind working towards the lad who was onto the left-hand rock, but did not anticipate a startling jump coming in from that Rage factor. But what a play, what an incredible play. It is going to be Team Sky being sent back into the lobby, and now it is 52x Rage moving on with 4 kills confirmed for themselves. So an interesting play is being showcased in the map of Sanhok right here, where unexpectedly teams are certainly bringing in quite a lot of domination, and along with that they are confirming those dominating plays into just complete annihilation for the opponent teams, for the teams that are at the receiving end. Moving on towards the edge of the zone, once again we do see Golden Stars in so close of proximity to the team of Team Star indeed, and as they do make that rotation in from Khao region towards the zone itself, it is going to be an affair where we can anticipate or expect the side of Star and Golden Star to perhaps jump on the gun against each other. Coming on down from that spot, we go down towards the camp itself, boot camp, where indeed it is going to be Reaper X, very, very close to Modifieds, and alongside that, when it comes to Modified, it is going to be, of course, Clarity Esports as well, right across the ridge and the small little canal, and that is something that Clarity can very well bring in a little bit of an X-Factor fight form, but it is on up to the bridge, pushing on alongside the team of Team Apex, and Bashi is the man who's at the receiving end. It is not looking good because 52X have already been able to bring 2 knocks against the players of Team Apex. It is not looking good because eventually one by one, all the players are brought down. It is just Bashi who's left all by himself and the powerful gun that he's holding, but will it be enough to be able to bring the onslaught to the players of 52X, as all 4 of them synergistically push on along? 5 kills, 6 kills, 7 kills, and now it is the final player that they are on the hunt for, who will also be eliminated eliminated again. Another fight that started and eventually resulted in the team at the receiving end completely being obliterated and sent back. But what a play this is turning out on Sanhok. We're only 9 minutes in this game.
9 minutes, just the 9 minutes, and we get to see at least 3 to 4 teams eventually thrown out of the lobby, as we get to see Apex leaving the lobby. Obviously it was Team Sky and then Cobex, and we are moving down towards the 9th, 10th minute of the game, and then we get to see more fights erupting as now Quraysh Money has taken the better half of Golden Star as they were trying to make a rotation from the northern side. It was obviously Quraysh that found themselves in the middle of all these rubbles, and talking about the rubble, it is gonna be a big gun, the MG3 light machine gun into action, as we are getting to see a lot of bullets that are being peppered down from the side of Quraysh Money is trying to pin him down. Luis is the one that can be burned down to death, as he is receiving a lot of utilities from the sides of Money. It's all 4 players alive from the sides of Quraysh. That means they really have a good gun power, but Oxy OP creating the left flank angle, and 33 AK getting from the back end side. If one small mistake Money does from his side, he will be taken care of, but Money is making sure that he is getting every sort of information. Eventually he has brought 33 AK just to survive on 10 HP, and that is going to be the case. But Bilal goes down, as now they are being third party. This is the custom, this is the basics of Sanhok, that you cannot just shy away from this. And now 52x Rage are just backstabbing Quraysh, and this gives a lot of time for Golden Stars to actually breathe and just recollect themselves and just try to take the fight. As soon as that happens, it will be a situation where Quraysh might just face the heat.
It certainly is turning into a third-party situation being brought on thanks to, of course, 52x, and in doing so, it has given Golden Stars the upper hand and advantage as they push and make a perfectly aggressive stance against the players of course, Quraysh Esports. And in doing so, now they are finding themselves in the blue zone. They have 340 meters to cover, but as they try and get in through that, it is not going to be an easy affair, because after all, when it comes down to Quraysh, it is not the kind of play that they anticipated. This team was looking annihilating as they made that rotation and pushed on alongside the players of Golden Star, but eventually it is Golden Star who gets the better half of that fight. One player, Adi OP, will still be able to give a lot of ruckus to the players of Golden Star, and eventually in doing so will be able to collect one more point in terms of the kill, thus giving this team 5 total kill points.
Cheeky play coming indeed with Quraysh leaving the lobby. It is just down to 9 teams, and what a start we have until now. It hasn't been a single minute where we haven't got to see a fight erupting, or maybe the fight just preempting to erupt. And this is the Pakistan region, obviously, as you just perfectly mentioned. I mean, 100% is what I would agree. Talk about the game of Miramar. Eventually, this is the Sanhok, where every time we get to see, be it be any region, we get to see a lot of fight. But since these are the Pakistani players, they are the brave hearts. They are the one that really don't shy away to take the fight. But an interesting rotation is one that has given in from the sides of Team Star. They have taken the water route, and they have not come in from the Hathin Bridge, rather have taken some different route and now come in from the side of northwestern side. And this is somewhere down the line that is going to be certainly helping them. A chance for them to convert this to chicken has raised highly.
Again, Portal Esports find themselves in the comfort of the zone. Yes. They find themselves pretty much at a zone area where there is no team to contest. Yes. Along with that, it is also the grounders who are going to be in the center of the zone itself, and they are going to be finding themselves on top of those cliffs, and that is going to be working absolutely in the grounders' favor, because they are in the center of the zone, and with that, having had that King of the Hill situation working in their favor, an advantageous one, will give them a lot of information for the teams making a rotation. It's only 12.5 minutes in this game, and it has been a complete onslaught that has been brought from these teams. From one fight to the next, every single fight has resulted in a team getting eliminated. With that, we've got 35 players remaining, and teams, of course, making that rotation to get into the comfort of the zone itself. But zone is not really going to be that comfortable, where you've got teams like 52x Rage who are just reigning supreme in terms of the kill department that they've been able to accumulate. For now, we haven't really been able to see Clarity Esports chime in terms of the domination, but I guess it's only a matter of time, because now the zone is pushing these teams to get into the zone, and that is where Clarity is on our screens.
There you have. The observers have listened to us, and now we are getting to see Clarity in a formation, as now Portal Esports are unleashing themselves into a fight against Clarity, and this is not going to be a tough challenge for both the teams, as Baby is trying to give a push. It is going to be a strategic one, and they need to make sure that no other player just try to take the advantage of all this situation. With all 4 players from 2 different teams just making a formation, it is going to be Bablu from the Bablu 420 boy that is holding the right hand side and making sure that no other player goes for the flank end side. But Wolf is also the one that is closer to where the the players are aligning and making a rotation with Wolf trying to spot down the players. All of a sudden, just a single spray. What a knock. What a knock. And this brings the onslaught that is coming in from the sides of Clarity Esports. But they need to make sure it was Grounder, and it's still Grounder that is holding not the ground but the mountain. And if they don't make sure, it will be Bablu and Clarity Esports that will be getting the better half of the circle. But in all this situation, it was Wolf that just over-aggressed, and over-aggression, if you do so, you will be punished. And so the punishment has been done. The punishment has been made, resulting in one kill that has been secured in form of Portal Esports, and also the player has been revived. That means now it's a number disadvantage where Clarity Esports, I would say they would fall back, and yes, they are falling back. They are falling back. One good decision, how will it be important for them? But this good decision would eventually backfire them, as the place where they are retreating is where that is held by the Grounders.
Absolutely. For now, Grounders have the information. We saw Knight take on a little bit of that burst damage onto the player of course, Clarity, and it was none other than Dani. But eventually, as of now, as he has taken the fight in his hands, Knight has also given away his information and is slowly but surely going to be getting himself backed out of that potential fight, which might just result in him getting annihilated. Eventually, again, when you talk about the kill department itself, for the moment, the Grounders have not really been a part of the kill department whatsoever at all, because they've been on this rock for a very, very long time, and now they are in a stalemate situation. 3 teams that find themselves in a stalemate situation. The Grounders know exactly where their opponent is. That is going to be right below them, and the team below them is going to be Clarity. They know exactly where their opponent is, because they just got their teammate killed in that exact same place where Wolf was taken down, thanks to, of course, Portal Esports' domination. But now the conversation is, who will take the fight? We do see that the Grounders are completely spread across this entire ridge, and that is certainly working for them. But for how long? Because they have created such a long, elongated rotation and push onto this rock that it is going to be pretty much like one man for himself. And Knight for now not making a lot of Knight for now certainly not expecting that sort of a rotation being brought from the side of course, Clarity Esports. On the other side, talk about dominating teams, it is going to be 52x Rage with 9 kills to themselves, getting on the run to get into the zone. And once again, when you talk about getting into the zone, it's going to be a team that will, of course, catch them as they do that, and it is going to be perhaps Golden Star that will perhaps get the better half of that rotation from 52x.
3 kill is where Golden Star is standing at this moment, and they really have a potential chance in order to pin down the players. But now it seems that now Zibyan has been thrown back to the lobby, as now kills are getting secured. And with that being said, it is going to be Dani that is still surviving, with 420 boy just getting knocked down from that fall damage. It is seeming that slowly and steadily they are being ripped apart, not only by the Grounders but also by the Portal Esports, and Clarity Esports have left the lobby with just certain kills, and this is not looking good for them. With just the 1 kill is what they have left the lobby. Certainly not the way we expected, certainly not the way the fans would have expected, but this is the truth.
Well, again, when it comes down to 52x, they are going to be jumping into the arena as well. And as they do so, it is Jigsaw right there. And Jigsaw should be able to spot this team down. And there we go. Jigsaw will bring in a spray. As he does, he will be giving away the information as well. And again, being all by himself, that is what the Grounders have decided to do. And that is something that can very well backfire for them, because this is a 4-man army of 52x Rage that is going to be pinning and trying to pincer down the placement of Jigsaw indeed. And eventually, when it comes to the teammates of Jigsaw, they are not around to give him that sort of a cover, because they have spread themselves out so far apart that it is going to be a little bit of a trouble. But on the other tangent, talking about Portal Esports, they have been caught off guard as well, and it is Modified who jump into the arena and get that one knock confirmed, but will not be rushing in to confirm a kill for themselves.
Exactly, and this is one good thing that I would love to see from all these teams. I mean, this is the maturity that they talk about, and they now they are showing with from the back end side. 52 Rage needs to check out the back. Check out your back, dude. Check out your back, dude. Else you will be pulled down, as now Knight is starting to just retaliate, but the onslaught has been survived. But for how long, that is going to be the question. But the players are still surviving, and that is the main important part. With no loss from the sides of 52 Rage, they were just lucky to escape this onslaught.
What an interesting strategy the Grounders have come up with. I mean, a 1-man army is what they are going for, but it is certainly working for the team, because none of the players of the Grounders have been knocked for now. And finally, finally, my word, the team will be getting a teammate to help him out. Jigsaw will have Hasu help him from the flank angle. That, of course, 52x Rage were trying to rob the domination of the grounders as well. But in all of this, Portal Esports could very well jump into the area as well. We do have Knight waiting on towards that tangent and will hopefully be the one that will retaliate against the push from Portal Esports. But for now, it is Hasu and Jigsaw on towards this side of the island, of the zone, and this is where it is going to be 52x. That is not looking too good, but eventually this is also not looking good for the grounders because the zone has moved away. 200 meters is the distance that these teams have to cover.
And also for 52 Rage, but before that happened, he's going to Shakhtar. That will be brought down to its knees, and now Hamzi is trying to retaliate in fashion as now Cairo goes down thanks to that onslaught that is coming in from the sides of Knight, and all of a sudden this is looking an even sort of affair with the grounders having a good advantage of elevated. Obviously those cliffs, now they are going down, but certainly not working in their favor as now slowly and steadily the players from the grounders going down. It is going to be the Knight, the last player surviving. And what sort of curveball, what sort of strategies, apart from running and gunning away from the players, do they have? Does he have? For the moment, it seems that he has none, as he is now showing the back. And showing the back is one bad thing. If you do so, you will be taken care of. And he doesn't even have one first aid. 15 bandages. And he will be trying to take one knock. And yes, Faster has been brought down. That means Knight won't be surviving for a long time. As now we head towards the Camp Alpha fight, where already Team Stars have aligned up against one team, and that is going to be of Modified.
What a play, what an amazing play this has turned out to be on the map of Sanhok. Indeed, it is going to be in the kill feed. Reaper X chiming in along against the players of North Esports, and in that alongside it is Knight, the grounders final team lad, who is going to be stopping and trying to, of course, dominate against the players of 52x Rage. But right here, as we move on to, of course, the Camp Alpha itself, it is going to be the circle that has once again moved away from the comfort of the zone or the teams that find themselves in the compound itself. In doing so, we are left with 5 teams remaining. Portal Esports still very much part of this arena, but 52x Rage, the domination that was showcased from them with 13 kills that they got, they have been sent back. Thus, we have 5 teams remaining, and it was Modified combined along with other teams that were the ones that resulted in 52x Rage being eliminated from this.
Exactly, and Camp Alpha being the hot bit of contestation, as now Team Stars are charging upon to the players of Modified in 1v1 fight. Will Loser go down? He will go down, as now Amish has brought him down to his knees, and he will be taking care of him, as now he will be securing that kill, and now making a move into zone is what he needs to prioritize, and that's the first objective of every and each team. For the moment, it is going to be North Esports that is also coming in from the northeastern side, and this is not going to be an easy pursuit. If we just talk about the movement and the positioning for Portal Esports, with Team Stars that is also coming from the southern side, they are pinning down the Modified players. Bullet is still surviving, Zord is still surviving, but for how long, that is going to be the question. But Team Star is just over-aggressing, and over-aggression is one thing that will be punished at an instant way. And Fury, it seems that he's the last player surviving. If he gets taken down, it will be a game end for them, as now Team Star has been thrown to the lobby. But Baby comes out from the blues. He has tried to dish out some of the damage. Before he does more, he will be falling things apart, as now the blues are taking a lot of players. But now all of a sudden, from the right hand side, from the northeastern side, it is going to be North Esports that are just left teams with all 4 players alive from the side of Reaper X. It is going to be an easy chicken. Not so much, because all the 4 players are in the same vicinity. One grenade followed up with some Molotovs can do the business and can seal the fate.
They're not even in the zone. They're not even in the zone, and that is something that can very well go against them, because on the other side, when it comes down to the players of North Esports, they are looking very much in control. Of course, the circle is in favor of North Esports right now. So a 4v2 situation, of course it is, but in terms of the way the game is played, well, this is the moment that, of course, is going to punish North Esports. They are going to, of course, right off the bat try and work on towards getting that Spade player revived, but in doing so, it is Reaper X who have been able to push on along to create that wonderful flank. But in that conversation, the numbers advantage, will it work? Will it work? That did not. What a play, what a play. Are you serious right now? I honestly thought What a play. Incredible turn of events for North Esports. Amazing is what I would say. With 7 kills, 812 damage that North Esports got, they find themselves on the second position with 22 points.
Just the 2 players, that's the perfect example of how to give the quick revival. It was Daku that gave the revival to Snow, and Snow made it all possible, surviving on just the 20 HP that you get after the revival is being done.
Wow.
Daku takes 1 player down, and eventually 1 player was down to its death when he was being burned down, and that 20 HP on which Snow took the fight.
Amazing.
And it was one last player surviving from the sides of obviously the team that was charging in. That was from the sides of Team Reaper X. I mean, that was just looking impossible, but there is always a possible and impossible, and that made it all happen. But before that, there is going to be the MVP ranking, where it is going to be Hamzi from the sides of Team 52. This is also one team that really had a very good game in terms of the total kills secured. Sort of 15 or 13 kill is what they secured, maybe more than that. We have to still wait for that, but 5 kill is what Hamzi secured in his own favor. And this guy, Snow, I mean, he was the one that really made it possible in this last stage of the game. I really love to see in these Oppo F19 Pro moments when we get to see, but for the moment it is going to be faster. It is going to be Zen from the sides of 52 Rage getting these 3 lads 5, 4, 9, obviously 11 kill is what they are securing, but Modified Amit was also the one that really had an influential gameplay. But what a finish. I mean, that was so sublime to watch.
Absolutely was. North Esports, I mean, that is just absolutely exhilarating play showcased from them, and in doing so, they of course find themselves at the second place in the overall ranking. So quite a commendable approach is what North Esports showcased in that, and made it happen for themselves. As we move on along, it is going to be the match summary bringing in the stats, where it was 52x Rages Faster who was the highest damaging person in this lobby, along with his teammates also chiming in with different utilities being utilized as well.
13 kills to be more precise is what Rage got in this match, and they were just furious. They were just raging in the early stage of the game. Eventually they got a lot of kill, and thus resulting them securing a total of 17 points. And then it was North Esports with that magnificent last 4-man complete wipeout, and before that they got those 3 points in terms of kill, and thus making a total of obviously 22 total points. Golden Stars also had a very good time in terms of total points that they did secure, but Cobex, teams like Team Apex, Team Sky and Clarity Esports were the one. If you remember, they were just thrown away in the early stage of the game. It was just Clarity that were trying to take the fight, but they were in sort of open situation. They were being pinned down from the grounders side, and obviously from the head-to-head fight that they were taking against NFP Sky Esports, and then they just perished to its worst way.
Absolutely, what a domination this was from so many of the teams that were kill hungry and were able to get so much of that absolutely working for themselves. So of course, let's go through the Oppo F19 Pro moments as we bring up the highlights and take a look at all the amazing fights that took place in this fight.
It started things off with Quraysh pinning down the players of Cobb, and this was the fight that we really wanted to see. In fun, 1 knock onto Dubai, and then it was 1 more knock onto Money. He was running out in the open, and the quickness, I mean, he collected all the 4-5 bullets, and it was just in a matter of 2 seconds, and then it was him that being pulled down, and then it happened. So for Team NFP Sky Sports, because they were being taken care by obviously 52 Rage, and then it was an all easy task for Golden Star. They were trying to pin down the player. The last player that was still surviving from the sides of Quraysh, that was of Adi. He brought 1 knockdown, and not only knock, he converted into the kill, tried to convert into the kill, and then Dani was the last player surviving. He tried to take 1v1 fight, but just not helped by that HP, because just the 40 HP taking the fight against 1 player that has a complete 100 HP. He still made sure that the HPs was brought down to just 20, but faltered down at the last stage of the game. Then it was the Camp Alpha fight, where it was Team Star taking the fight, and then all of a sudden North Esports came out of nowhere, trying to decimate the lobby. Snow given the revival from the side of Team Daku, and then it was an all easy chicken for them. And with that, it is 1 chicken is everything you want in this region, and then you are in second position. Before that, the North were not even in contestation, but we are constantly talking about, because there is not much of a difference, still not much of a difference, just the 8-point difference between them and UAG, just the sort of a obviously 6 to 5 point difference between them and Clarity. Rage is also somewhere down the line, Reaper somewhere down the line. So Grounders, I mean, any one team up from 2 to 7 to 8, if they get 1 chicken and a high fragging game, potentially will be putting them right there at the top, even top 3 or maybe top 5.
Absolutely, and as we move on to the second page, again things are so very close indeed, because only the top 14 teams are going to be moving on into the regional finals, and in that right now when we talk about the points, 14th team for now it is going to be Quraysh Esports with 69 points that they've been able to accumulate, but that's not it. Again, when it comes down to the teams that we are looking at who have only played 8 matches, they are going to be completing their gameplay tomorrow. And of course, if you are on that 14th spot, on that 13th spot with not a lot of points at the end of today, then that means that your placement can very well be contested by the teams that are finding themselves on this third page of the leaderboard, because again, the points are so close. One good game can result in so many of these teams moving on along into the top 14.
And also for Apex, I mean, they really didn't have at least a good game, but as you perfectly mentioned, one good game can eventually put them right at the top. But certainly this is going to be a daunting task, and they really need the Herculean effort if they really want to make it to the, obviously, to the finals that each and every team is playing for. But in somewhere down the line, some teams are bound to miss, but one thing is for sure, that everyone are getting the amount of confidence and amount of experience that will be helping to shape their future.
That is true. That is so true as well, because after all, not all teams ever are going to be moving on into the finals. Not all teams ever are always going to be dominating. It keeps on changing, and that is the way the tournaments keep on playing, and that is the opportunity that few of these teams, of course, wait for and then try and capitalize upon. But along with all of this, I mean, now we've got only one game remaining, the final game that will be played on Erangel. But before we do get busy with that game, it is time to take a short little break. We'll be right back.
Here we go now.
Are you keeping it real? I'm calling shotgun, wanna see my baby run. Oh, what's the word on the sea? Kicking up the dust, if you know what
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile Club Open Pakistan Region 2021. A big thanks to once again Oppo F19 Pro. Hashtag Vook up your fun. We are on the day where final game is remaining, day number 5. The final game is remaining, and with that, let's move on with the schedule and bring that up, because when it comes to the games that have been showcased till now, they have been phenomenal. Starting off with 52x Quraysh Esports, bringing in some perfect plays where it was Portal Esports that were second, but then we move on to the second game of Miramar, where Portal Esports got that amazing chicken dinner for themselves. And right now, we just witnessed on Sanhok, North Esports. I mean, the gameplay that this team showcased, I still cannot believe that they got that chicken dinner, because
It's hard to process.
the way that it was
process.
moved, it was just absolutely incredible. Reaper X certainly was not able to get that away from them, but now there is one more opportunity for one team to showcase this sort of a destructive play, of course, on Erangel, and that is the game there, after which Group A and C would have completed their matches in the semi-finals.
I mean, exactly 2 back-to-back second finish for Reaper X. They must be hungry to get that chicken. Indeed, in the last game itself, they did falter down, having bring all the 4 players alive into the last circle, but still not enough to get that chicken, and that's what separates them from getting the chicken. But last game itself, that is going to be the Erangel. That will be steadily, that will be getting course of it. But before that, it was a good game for North Esports. But since we are jumping right away into the game of Erangel, we will be getting to see the flight path slowly and steadily marching on to the way where the Primorsk is where the flight path starts and Stolber is where it ends.
Well, what a start it is. What an amazing start it is, most certainly, where indeed the teams are looking real good. The teams are looking very confident and, of course, going to be trying to bring in that sort of a play as well for themselves. But we shall see which team will it be that will get that perfect chicken dinner for themselves. And also, again, it's not always about the chicken dinner, right? Because in the previous game, I mean, we did see that when it came down to the team of 52x Rage, that did not get a chicken dinner, but the kill-hungry team that it was walked away with 13 kills. So it's not always the chicken dinner that is going to be helping you. It is also, of course, the kill department that can favor you as well. And that is something that 52x showcased again and again. With that, as the flight path has moved on along, it is going to be the grounders who are going to get off the plane right off the bat to get themselves down towards the Primorsk region from the looks of it. Yes, that is going to be the case. On to the next front, it is going to be on for Golden Stars that are going to be creating, once again, a flank angle. Not necessarily a flank angle, sorry, but a split approach is what they've got when it comes down to the way that they are dropping, and very close, of course, into the Ferry Pier region is going to be the team of Team Sky. And as the game progresses on, Reaper X also not that far away from the positioning of the Team Sky. Eventually, the teams are going to be very, very close, and of course, when it comes down to the early contestations itself, we can anticipate that from the side of Team Apex, closely following the placement and the positioning of course, the team of Modified. Modified and Apex being so very close could result in the first blood being drawn right from between those two teams themselves. And talking about the zone itself, the zone has moved upwards. The zone is going to be going on down towards creating Rozhok and Yasnaya Poliana being the center for now.
And it's there where Quebecs are having the safe haven, but Pachinki is where I get to see 2 teams are positioned, and it seems that yes, we will be getting to see a fight between them and also one more team, and that is going to be of Apex. And the team that got the chicken in the initial stage of the game have fallen down in the last 2 matches, obviously on the game of Sanhok and Miramar, but for the moment the players are making a formation. Tossi from the sides of Apex is holding those compounds that is in the closer vicinity on the different side of the road, with the rest of the 3-pack from the sides of Apex getting closer and closer towards 52x Radar position. It is going to be Hamzi. Seems that he has spotted down the exact movement of Tausif and Cairo, and Ray's Jin from the backhand side that is really looking to get control of those 5 important compounds that it marks the initial territory of Pachinki faster. He knows that it is just one player, and since he knows it, it's the UMP that is giving him a lot of confidence. And so Taufeeq can be charged upon, as now the bullets are being peppered down in a random way, but Faster will be making sure that he is now showing the back, will be punished, and punishment is to its best, as now Tausif has been brought down, and not only brought down, has been eliminated. First blood of this match has gone into the favor of 52x Rage.
Perfect play being showcased from the dad. Eventually, of course, I mean, Hamzi, the way he just pushed on along Faster, also helping and pushing on into that area, was just so much in control and knew exactly what to anticipate when it came down to the way the entire apartment is made as well. And he was able to completely pincer down the movement and get that first blood. effectively is what I would say. The strategy was just so on point. There was just no way that they would not have gotten that kill. And now it is going to be Team Apex, who sadly are going to be dropped down to a 3-man squad. They are still in the area. They are not going to be falling back. They are staying around to perhaps actually maintain the position and maybe even retaliate against the kill that they have just been given from the side of 52x Rage. But will it be enough? Because 52x Rage is coming in with a lot of rage, as was showcased in the previous game as well. 13 kills is what this team had. So eventually a miraculous play is what this team showcases. And right now, again, another thing to talk about is going to be the fact that when it came down to the previous game and the play that 52x were making, every single time they took a fight, they would not only bring in 1 or 2 players down, they would take the entire team down, the opponent team down. And that is something that they have been showcasing again and again. And now that is again going to be the philosophy that they'll probably be preaching and moving on along with, because 52x Rage, they are on the hunt to take down the team of Team Apex, whereas Team Apex, well, they are just waiting. They are just waiting. But they have created a decent flank angle for themselves in the 2 compounds that they have gotten for them. But will it be enough? X-Men from the one side is going to be creating a flank. Bashi has been spotted from Zen. But of course, for now, they are trying to get the information relayed. 52x Rage, that is.
It's just the Bison in his hand that is just not allowing him to take the fight. But now it seems that he is aligning himself in the crosshair. And Bison, whatever be the gun, whatever be the case, whatever be the situation, the team is just ready to fight on beat with the Bison that has really that is lowest, I mean not the lowest but still low bullet travel speed and just resulting a lot of bullet drops. And if he is trying to pepper down the bullets onto the face of him, it will be a tough chance for him to get a knock circuit. But now it is the moment where the players are going to get on a head-on fight. Cairo, this flank angle, I mean he is on the top of this warehouse that can really advantage him in terms of getting that knock secured. With Hamzi charging on the player, he was pretty much close. He should have thought about and he should have preempted that it is going to be man with that extreme X factor and bringing that extreme rotation and extreme that corner that could have actually helped them. But since now he has been knocked on, now the fight is on an even side, but the fight is again on an uneven side as one more knock, thus resulting just the 2 players surviving from the sides of Apex, and that is going to be Orochi and Bashi, and they are now just engulfed in one single compound. At any point, at any moment, all the 3 player charges, and that can be a game in for them, as Foster is using all the smokes just to create that smoke thick cloud in order to traverse them and get past towards those compounds. This is going to be one bad decision, I would say, but before that happens, it is going to be Molotov that is coming right onto the face of them, and now they are being charred to death.
I am loving this team, 52x Rage. The way they are setting these flank angles up is absolutely ludicrous. I mean, they have the exits covered. There's no way, there's absolutely no way that Apex can run away from this situation. 2 players are going to be rushing in to the area, that's the compound that they find the opponent team in. That 1 player will be on the exit and 1 player will be on the flank. There is absolutely no position that has not been taken care of from the side of 52x Rage. But sadly, this time around, they did end up losing 1 of their players, and that was Hamzi. And indeed, when it came down to just completing the fight, 1 of the players was knocked as well, and that was Zen. But of course, the revival will be confirmed, and the team has already confirmed 4 kills for themselves in the first 7.5 minute marker of this game. So a GG play being showcased from 52x Rage, and absolutely going to be dominating force this team as they move pillage across this entire lobby.
Indeed, it is a sad affair for obviously Team Apex as they just now exited the lobby. I really expected some real sort of resistance. They did show, the last pair did show, but as you perfectly mentioned, there was no sort of respite. There was no other option because the exit was blocked on and the entry was where 52 Rages player were just raging themselves into that. But it is going to be one fight that I'll have my keen eyes set upon, as now it is going to be 3 teams trying to rotate in from the western side, and Clarity is the one that can really have a good go. But on the other side, it is no other team that can erupt into the fight. It's just the center line around the area of Yasna Poliana. We can expect some of the fight, but Bablu, Zibyan, and obviously the rest of the teammate can really possess a big challenge to the players of the Grounders, and obviously for the GS that is going to be Golden Stars, and the team that is still coming in slowly and steadily. The players are facing a lot of blue damage. I'm talking about the Grounders.
Yep. Well. We're 8 minutes in. We've got 12 teams part of this lobby. North Esports is who we jump on down towards 8.5-minute marker, where the teams have been able to accumulate decent amount of loot for themselves, but the North Esports team is not all alone. There is a team making a rotation next to them, and that is going to be the team of Team Sky. NFPX Sky has moved on to a compound that has not been contested from any other team, and certainly going to be working in this team's favor because it is going to be in the zone as well. And as North Esports got the audio cues, they are going to try and get that information relayed to, of course, the teammates and move on along, or not. Well, we shall have to see. For now, of course, it is going to be a slow moment for them in the game because the teams are making the rotations and are getting themselves acclimated into the zone. As we were just looking at the North Georgopol region itself, we did see Golden Star making that rotation, and it was, of course, Clarity who would have gotten those audio cues of the boats. That I do believe it was water rotation that this team was making, Golden Star, and in doing that, they must have given away the audio cues. But eventually, when it comes to the circle itself, the circle has moved away, and Clarity, we know for a fact, Clarity Esports will be working towards getting themselves into the zone before, and that is exactly what we see. The green dots coming in from the western front, south of shooting range, is going to be the team of Clarity Esports indeed. And as they do get into the comfort of the zone, Modified is going to be waiting for them, and Modified are prepped and ready. But the burst, will it be enough against Clarity? We shall have to see. Even if Modified decide not to take on this fight, that is going to be absolutely fair and square as well, because of course when it comes down to Clarity Esports, the way that rotation is being made, it seems like that is the exact same compound that they are going to be punching down from on towards the players of North Esports.
Bullets have been peppered down. We're going to get to see Bullet, Hamad and Zod Amish. Everyone is just trying to pin down the rotation, but I'm still surprised why 52 Rage is just not coming out of the Pochinki area, because it has been a minute ago where the circle has made a formation, and since they are making some sort of late rotation, maybe some sort of different strategies is what they are up to. But now it is going to be Clarity into the vicinity where they are facing the heat of Portal Esports, of Corps, and now all of a sudden North Esports, they are charging on the players of Portal Esports. It's Baby that has gotten a lot of hit onto his head, and he needs to actually patch himself. At the same moment, it is going to be Clarity Esports rotating in the same vicinity. Portal Esports making two sort of fights into the same area. It is going to be Cobb Saf that has pulled down one player from the sides of Portal Esports. Certainly not looking good at this moment, because it's a rotation that was just so aggressive, because they were just not waiting for any team to just trying to retaliate or maybe playing passively. That could have been the case, but since Dani has been caught in the open, it was Yasnaya Polyana where Cobex were really having a stronghold for the last 5 minutes, and thus resulting one knock, one kill secured, and they are good to go for this fight.
They most certainly are. They've gotten that one kill for now, and indeed in doing so have brought down the players of Clarity Esports down to a 3-man squad. But Clarity did not stop. They had a plan, they had a rotation in mind, and that's exactly what they are working towards. They have finally found themselves towards the northern front of Yasnaya from the looks of it, and in that, will Cobex be wanting to retaliate onto that position? It does not look likely to be the case for now, because eventually when it comes to the fight itself, Cobex is going to be pretty happy with the way that the spray turned out, and the way that they were able to, of course, confirm the kill of Dani against the players of Clarity Esports. As of now, Portal Esports have been chiming in again with a lot of sprays and burst damage to the players of North Esports, but for the moment, a kill has not been confirmed. They do have the information, they do know there's a buggy there, so that means the vehicle means that there is certainly going to be a team in there, but Portal Esports have not confirmed any knock or kill. Along with that, as we push on along through the game, 12.5 minutes in, it is looking pretty, but Modified have been caught off guard. It is going to be Quraysh Esports who have jumped in and taken a Mish down. Modified are going to have to be really careful as Dubai pushes on along to take a kill and confirm the kill for himself. He will be able to confirm the kill. Now Modified are going to have to be really careful as to what sort of a playstyle can they make, because they have the compound most certainly working for them. But the way Quraysh Esports is pushing on along with Bilal onto the flank angle behind, it is going to be very, very tricky to approach this in the open. It is going to be, well, it is not going to be an easy approach for Modified, but eventually when it comes down to the play itself, it is going to be a fair for Quraysh Esports to try and take into their arena. When it comes to the zone edge, that is what is certainly going to be working in favor of Quraysh Esports. But for now, there is absolutely no problem at all, no trouble at all rather, for Modified Esports as well, because the 3-man army has the comfort of the compound, and in doing so, the game is not really pushing or requesting the team of Modified to get out of that compound to take on the fight. But in all of that activity, it seems like NFPX Sky is going to be jumping in to the fight as well. They are going to be at least making rotation from that area, not jumping into the fight right off the bat. It is going to be NFPX Sky as they push on against the movement and of course the compound of 52x Rage. It is going to be a tricky affair for the team Sky to find themselves a decent compound, because the audio cues are certainly going to be given to them. But for now, it is 52x Rage that is being so very quiet, so not themselves.
Exactly, Rozhok is where both the teams are finding themselves into, and now since that vehicle has been ejected, it is going to be NFP Team Sky that is sitting in the vicinity of the Rozhok compound. Are we heading towards the urban finish? We have to still wait for that, as the circle might tend to go away, but one sudden shift has certainly brought everyone down, as now Clarity is also coming into zone, where the Portal Esports sitting in the Deathmatch center. With Clarity, the players are completely in a different sort of split, with Zibyan on to the hand side and Bablu and the 420 boy complete on the southwest eastern side. They are on the same edge onto the same east side, but completely far-fetched is the approach for the now. And how are they going to strategize the fight? We have to still wait for that, but in all this doing so, it is going to be Quraysh Esports pretty much close to where North Esports, the team that got the chicken in the last match. Daku was the one that really made it possible. Is it enough for this time for him to actually get the better half of it, as now Modified is making a sort of rotation closer to him, but he is the one that is finding himself in that quiet position. He's not giving any sort of shots, neither the sound cues, and it seems that Money is aware of the fact, but still anonymous position of Daku is making sure that he will be taking things off carefully. But before that happens, Uzi wins the battle against, obviously, that was one team, one player of North Esports, Daku.
Well, what a cheeky play Daku was creating, not entirely sure, but eventually he was caught and he was punished. And not only that, as the game progresses on along, Zaman has been punished as well. North Esports down with one man already lost to the cause and one man down on his knees. It is not looking good for North Esports as they try to make that rotation. It has certainly backfired, and in doing so, Quraysh Esports, they have gotten and completed 3 kills confirmed for themselves. An amazing turn of events is what this has resulted in. Of course, they were here trying to take on a fight against the players of Modified. Eventually Modified were able to get a rotation away to get into the comfort of the zone, but Quraysh get the better half of this fight, and of course the rotation that North Esports were hoping to make has certainly been stopped, and it is Quraysh to thank. With that, talking about the zone itself, Portal Esports find themselves in the comfort of the zone. It is going to be NFPX Sky who are at the edge of the zone towards the northern side of Rozhok, and eventually when it comes to the fights that are being taken, this is going to be an absolutely obliterating task, for so many of these teams are still alive and the zone is not that large.
North Esports on a run, not the complete squad, but just the 2 players surviving. It is going to be Mage, it is going to be Ghosta that are now trying to ghost apart from themselves and just trying to hide themselves is going to be the one objective for the moment, because just the 2 players alive, I mean, they really cannot take the head-on fight. But Clarity Esports player are now congregated in a position in a way that they are looking to take up the fight. But for the moment, it is going to be the Quraysh Esports that is also on a charge, but they are hitting towards the compounds, and before they hit the compound, it is one bad thing that really happened, but certainly not giving any sort of damage onto him, as Money survives that obviously that collision between his buggy and the big rock, with Quraysh Esports with all the 4 players coming in slowly and steadily into the circle. Rozhok main city is where they are finding themselves into, and they will be getting into the circle, and that is not going to be a long distance. But since there is a lot of steam alive, 12 teams in the same vicinity, the fight is bound to erupt, and in that eruption it is going to be again Juicy that is holding that Visit Tower. In the first game itself, we saw Juicy in the game of Erangel where he held the Visit Tower, but with no success. This is a time that he needs to prove him. He is spinning out the grenade. Does Fury know it? It seemed that yes, Fury knows it, but certainly that grenade was a failure.
It most certainly was, and he is going to be running away from that situation. But Portal Esports' players are just going to be chiming into this fight, and Fury will not be allowed to stay alive for long. And Nocto has been knocked, but eventually Mom2 comes in to confirm that kill. In this entire saga, Portal Esports did lose one of the players, and along with that, another fight was erupting where it was none other than the team of North Esports who have been eliminated. In the 18-minute marker, we find ourselves with 10 teams remaining, 36 teams alive, and eventually, as the conversation pushes on along, 52x Rage are going to be chiming into the fights and into the kill department as well, as they get a knock confirmed for themselves, and it is none other than Modified who are going to be in the vicinity on the other front, or rather from the back ends. It is going to be Quraysh Esports who can very well be backstabbing this opportunity of Modified Esports, and in all of this it can be a troublesome situation for Modified, because they got a kill, they got a knock from 52x, they got another knock from this team of Quraysh Esports, and now the utilities that are being dropped on from the side of Quraysh Esports have resulted in the team of Modified not having a good fight in this entire saga, and the nades just keep on coming in. So many of those perfectly set up nades are just bringing down the players of Modified one by one by one. All of them are resulting in the team just getting so many kills, and now Modified players Zod realizes that, dude, this is too much. This is raining nades for him from the side of Quraysh Esports, and he is going to be running away. But Quraysh Esports better be careful, because this is exactly the spot that 52x were able to get the better half of the players of Modified, and now if Quraysh are not careful, they might find themselves to be at the onslaught of 52x Rage. But eventually we shall see if that will be the case or not. We are in the 5th zone right now. Still 32 players are remaining in this entire saga, and that is not going to be enough. When it comes to the zone, that is not going to be enough. Teams, as all of them try and find the comfort of this area, are going to be getting into quite a lot of ruckus, because there's not enough area for the teams to be actually sharing this small little area spot, and in that it is going to be the team of Team Sky, as they make a lot of noise to get into the zone. 52x Rage have a really good compound at the edge and are just completely trying to stop any team that is making that rotation close to them.
But sadly, they have to relinquish the compound, as now Zone has tilted away from all these small little compounds. But the grenades are being used with perfection, as now Clarity 420 Boy has brought that one knock that they were just waiting for it. 420 Boy is just burning, but he is so sure about his position that he's still in that burning ground and still not finding himself away. He was in the extreme corner of that wall, and that really saved him. But this is going to be a charge not only from the sides of Reaper X, but also from the sides of Golden Star. And now the players are slowly coming in. Reapers now realizing the fact that there is one more team charging onto the same compound, onto where they had their objective set up a minute ago. Now it is going to be tough affair, as now AB has gone down. This leads down to 3 players surviving from the sides of Golden Star, with Oxy OP from the sides of Golden Star pinning one grenade. If this lands straight onto the face of Myth, it is going to be a tough task, but he just cancelled that grenade. He's just waiting for the other player to come into the circle. But before that happens, the players are going for the revival. That means a lot of time will be wasted. But before that, it is going to be Reaper X that are facing the onslaught. The heat is already on, with the Rafai still surviving. It is going to be NFP Sky Ash that is now faltering down. You just perfectly mentioned that it is going to be 52 Rage that won't allow NFP for the rotation, and now this is getting to see. This is happening at this moment, but with Myth position, it seems that it is anonymous to the players of Golden Stars.
For now, that is certainly the case, because it is the smoke that is not allowing these teams to actually retaliate. But eventually, when the smoke dissipates, it is going to be Reaper X's players who are going to be penciling down, hopefully, the players of course Golden Star. But we shall have to see, because it is a 4v2 situation. The smoke is finally dissipated, and eventually the players of Golden Stars were not able to give the kind of well play that, or rather Reaper X were not able to give that sort of a play, and eventually it is Golden Stars who get the better half of that fight. What a phenomenal turn of events for Golden Star this has turned out to be, as they have been able to sustain all 4 players still on their feet and push on along. They've got the compound looking really strong, this team, for now. With that, we've got 8 teams remaining. Modified has been eliminated with this ongoing saga. This is looking really, really good and absolutely perfect play, but very close to them. Reaper X's one final player, Rafai, is still there.
He's still there. As I just mentioned, smoke is the only thing that is saving him, and smoke is the only thing that is still saving him, as Rafa is still surviving. But on the different direction, it is going to be NFP that is going to be of Team Sky that is now pinning down the players of Quraysh Esports, and now it is all of a sudden looking pretty strong at this moment as Golden Star. Now they have to relinquish the compound, because it is just the 20 seconds, and then the blue will be slowly and steadily approaching towards them. And before that happens, it is going to be an intentional push that should be coming in. But before that happens, it was a last attempt, a last resort that the last player from the sides of Reaper X did, and in doing so he did falter down. And then again, it is again a nade that will be barraged onto the face of Quraysh, and in that, it is going to be Ash that is going to also be using his AKM in tandem, and before that happens, it is going to be Deadshot that will falter down. Slowly and steadily, each and every one are going down, but in this fight, Adi OP is going to be the man in form. He's trying to take up the fight, but Hilsi from the backhand side tries to come in and saves the team. He is the real savior for the moment, as he has got the 2 kills out of the total 4. But the question still remains. There are a lot of teams coming in from the southeastern side, and the school main compound is in the circle. That means a lot of TPP is what we can expect the fight where it can erupt from.
Well, Portal Esports also chiming in along into the kill feed with the way that those nades are being paraded. It is looking really in phenomenal position. That is going to be for Portal Esports. On the other front, it was also the Grounders who were at the receiving end, and now as we move on along, Portal Esports are the ones who find themselves pretty much in the center of the zone itself and are taking on fights with so many teams trying to make that rotation. It is not looking good. Team Sky have been brought down, but will that be enough to stop the onslaught from Team Sky? We shall have to see, because Portal Esports, they are looking pretty phenomenal. The Team Sky have lost one of their players. It's only a 2-man squad that they are remaining with, but in this small little vicinity, there are so many teams. We're left with 5 teams remaining. Portal Esports looking absolutely abysmal in terms of the play that they've created. Inside the compound, we have the Grounders absolutely dominating against the players of Corbex, and slowly one by one, Corbex has been eliminated as well. A GG play is being showcased in this entire saga. Golden Stars are also part of this entire event, but Portal Esports will not allow them to return fire for now, because it is just once again the nade parade that is created from the side of Mom2 that is going to be reigning supreme against the players. But what a spray that was from 52x range. Mom2 brought down to almost 15% health.
Lucky guy is what I would say, and that obviously the adrenaline that he used a moment ago, those painkillers and those rings actually saved him, else he could have been taken care of, as now the circle is going for the shift. The circle is going for the shift, and that is certainly gonna be landing in some certain team's favor, and certain teams will be getting away from the zone. Which team is it gonna be? We have to still wait for that, and it is gonna be obviously Portal Esports that is getting the complete entire circle in the vicinity of it. It is gonna be Nocto, it is gonna be Juicy that are pretty much strong at this moment, but certainly now the Grounders need to come out of the main school building, and in doing so, it will be Portal Esports that will be encountering them first in the very first place. But one different direction, it is going to be obviously Team Sky that is still holding that obviously those bridges, obviously those walls that is in front of them, with Juicy being spotted down. The grenade, one low toss grenade can do the business for Team Grounders.
And that's exactly what Juicy is thinking, but it could very well be the case from the Grounders team that they could very well be jumping along this wall and trying to take on the kill as well. But in all of that, the X Factor is going to be brought on from the side of NFVX Sky, because that team is slowly moving into the arena and getting closer and closer to the placement of the Grounders as well as Portals. For now, the Molotov was utilized from the side of Nocto. A smoke has also been created, but will it be enough to take on this onslaught and fight against the players of the Grounders? Because the Grounders have only a 2-man squad, and a 2-man squad taken on the players of Portal Esports are looking in control most certainly, but have not been able to retaliate or bring in an aggressive stance for now. But now is the moment where it seems like Nocto is going to be getting that information relayed to his teammates, and of course they are going to be creating a synergistic push against the players of the Grounders. But it seems like Nocto has been almost boned. Wow, what a play from the Grounders indeed, and this has resulted in the team that was looking very, very good, well, brought on down to a fair square fight where the Grounders is a 2-man squad and are brought down to a 2-man squad are going to be trying to take on the fight to Portal Esports, but Portal Esports have chewed on a bit too much in this fight, and they are being relentlessly, aggressively being pushed against the players of the Team Sky, 52x as well as Grounders. A GG play from the Grounders indeed against Portal Esports.
Indeed it is. I mean, Nocto was just burning down to death, but we need to not to forget about that it is still going to be 52 rage coming in from the northeastern side. That can really be a big party spoiler for all the teams that are trying to survive. The vicinity. Cairo has a lot of info for all the teams that are trying to take the fight. There is no smoke. The smoke has dissipated, and now the charge in has come with Cairo leading the charge. It is looking good for the Rage Esports, obviously for the players, but Katir goes down, and not only Katir goes down, it is NFP Sky Sport that has gone down with elimination of Sky Sports. We are just down to 2 teams. 6 players are still alive, with 3 from the sides of obviously 52 Rage. 1 player still needs the revival, but it is the Sharpters M249 that is just not stopping. Knight on to the other hand side, that's still surviving, just on a sliver of an HP. He just survived that grenade, a spot on grenade from the sides of Cairo, thus resulting him being knocked down. But now one more grenade, one more M249 shots, and that does the job. And now Cairo realizing the situation faster from the right hand side, and from the left hand side it was Cairo, but before that it was Faster that was fast enough to take the knock, take the chicken. what a game for 52 Rage. They started the day off in Erangel with chicken. They end the day with Erangel with a chicken. 12 kill is what they were able to secure. Total of 27 total points. And obviously, this was the same sort of performance that they did repeat in the very first game. And what a game, what a style, what a way to end the show.
What a perfect way to absolutely end the show as well as their story card, because again, when it comes down to these teams that just played, well, they are done with their games in the semi-finals. They have showcased the best of the best plays, and when we will look at the overall rankings, it will clearly indicate as well, because well, all the teams in the top 8 are pretty much secure for now, because, well, they are the teams from Group A and C, apart from just one team that was sitting on top of the leaderboard. But eventually, as we move on to the MVP, it is going to be faster with 9 kills, 0 assists, 885 damage that he was able to dish out in 26 minutes of survival time. Along with that, we move on to the top players coming in from this game, and it is going to be Momtu from the side of PMCO Esports once again with 860 damage that he was a part of, but only a 2 kill.
Exactly, I mean a lot of damage just in that same frame. We just saw a wall that was separating PMCO Esports and the grounders, and a lot of utilities were being used, a lot of throwables being used, and in that doing so, it was just Mom2 that got a lot of damage secured. But for the moment, it is going to be the match summary that we are talking about with Myth from the side of Reaper X that got the longest kill distance and is just of 188 meters. That shows that the fight was completely fought in the closer proximity, resulting a lot of bloodbath that we just got to see. And FP's Sky Khatir that used a 19 utilities thanks to all the smokes that really helped him survive for a long time, and that really gave them a time to get a lot of points. But 52 Rage Esports, what a game for them. Again, the grounders making a comeback. PMCO Esports, I mean, the day has really been there. Talk about the consistency, we talk about PMCO Esports, and then it was Team Sky. The team really got those important 10 placement points and 4 also kills, and accumulating both these makes a total of 14 the easy match that we get to see Reaper X getting on the 8th total position points in this game. But Clarity Esports did falter down, and in the very early stage of the game, we just saw Modified and North Esports along with Apex getting just smacked down of the lobby, and thus resulting just 1 point shared between all these 3 teams.
Absolutely, and from that we move on to the, of course, Oppo F19 Pro moments that are going to be highlighting the entirety of the saga that took place on this game. And in that, it was 52X that pushed on against the players of course Team X. As they did so, they did lose one of their players as well, one of their teammates, but eventually were able to completely annihilate the players of Team Apex.
Exactly, Apex was just smacked. I mean, they really gave a chance. They were really given a chance to prove their metal out, but certainly faltered down in the area of Pachinki, and that was one big team that they did challenge. And at there, I guess, it was 52 Rage that gained the momentum, and they carried it till the last. We just talk about that, but before that, there was a raining bullets onto the head of Modified. With the last player surviving, Zord, he was just obviously last player surviving from that side, but was so not long for themselves. And then it was Team Sky that really charged upon onto the players of Quraysh onto the same area, and they also eliminated them.
They most certainly did, and this is where the entire saga moved on along. With only 4 teams remaining, this is when absolute chaos was brought in. PMCO Esports were being annihilated from all the tangents and sides, but eventually, as the grounders tried to stand true to their ground, it was 52X Rage that chimed in to get that chicken for themselves. With that, as we talk about the top 8, it is only UAG's X2UF that find themselves on the second page, rather on the second position, apologies, with the, of course, 139 points that they have been able to accumulate in just 8 games. So tomorrow this team is going to be chiming in to play their final 4 games. But as we move on along to the second page, again, keep in mind that only top 14 teams are going to be pushing on into the finals itself. And for now, it is looking like few of those teams, like for example Quraysh Esports with 77 points. It is going to be tough. It is certainly going to be tough for the side of course, Quraysh Esports to be able to maintain that 12th position for themselves. And same, of course, can be said for Team Star and Golden Stars as well. Based on, well, that again, we'll have to see what sort of a game is going to be showcased from Group, of course, B and D tomorrow.
Exactly. I mean, Freestyle is just the one team that really will be going all guns blazing, because it's just the 6-7 points, the difference between them and Quraysh Esports standing right there at the 14th position. But some of the teams that have really missed the mark, talk about Team Apex. In this last game, they threw away everything, jumping onto the same area where the teams were actually present there, but still faltering down. I mean, they really tried hard. They really tried to outskirt and outplay the opponents, but certainly was not the case. And then we got to see Cop X exactly getting those 12 total matches and just a total 30 points. And talking about that, it was also a good experience for all the teams that really played this match. But kill leaders is where obviously Edgar is still leading the charge after just the end of 8 games. He's still leading. He is still leading.
Absolutely, and as we move on, it is going to be, of course, that side of the grounders, Shaptar, who was on the 3rd spot with 22 kills, 3,494 damage, along with in just a survival time of 20 minutes. As we move on to the team of 52x Rage, I mean, this is destruction. This is absolute destruction from Faster and Zen with only 15, almost not even 15 minutes survival time. The dude is looking absolutely perfect in terms of the domination that they have been able to showcase. With that, we've got just one more day remaining. That's going to be tomorrow for the semi-finals, and we do reach the end of our day today. Of course, it is a huge thanks to Oppo F19 Pro for, of course, sponsoring and making all of this possible. Hashtag Book Up Your Fun. We'll be back again tomorrow to complete the saga and complete the affair of this PMCO for, of course, the region of Pakistan. Until tomorrow, take care. Bye-bye.
Here we go now. 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 Go now. Here we 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 go now.